What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 16 TR Chapter 291. Beheading. Seeing that Mizuki was about to take action, Yakushi Kabuto was ready to shed his skin and run away. But who knew that Mizuki's move was fake, but his escape was real. He disappeared in the blink of an eye. It seems that his injuries are very serious. If I kill him and then impure world reincarnation comes out. If such a master is controlled by me, I can easily destroy this false world. What a pity. Although he was seriously injured, the Flying Thunder God technique was enough to make him invincible. Shaking his head, Yakushi Kabuto turned around and prepared to leave Phoenix Village. This time, Tien Shingenji persuaded him to come here with the intention of looking for Mizuki's body. But Mizuki wasn't dead at all, so the trip was in vain. If you don't leave, you won't be able to leave even if you want to wait until the experts from Phoenix Village come to find you. But before he had even taken 2 steps, he heard a plop in the woods dozens of meters behind him, accompanied by a painful groan. This muffled groan sounded a bit familiar, much like Mizuki who just flew away from the Flying Thunder God. Yakushi Kabuto was a little unsure, but decided to go and have a look. When he got closer and saw Mizuki half kneeling on the ground through the gap between several trees, struggling to get up, a smile appeared on his lips. At this time, Mizuki felt very bad. My head felt like it was going to explode, it was in severe pain. My whole body felt like I was soaked in boiling water, no part of it was without pain. And from the inside out, there are no dead ends, the kind that hurts so much that you doubt your life. The key point is that this kind of pain originates from the soul level, and then affects the body from the soul. In fact, there is no damage to the body, but even if the pain is felt, it cannot be relieved at all. Ah, he screamed loudly, unable to hold back any longer. The next moment, a samurai sword appeared in his hand and slashed directly towards his neck. With a dang sound, the knife broke into several pieces, but the neck was unscathed. This scene shocked Yakushi Kabuto. First, chop your own neck with a knife. What is this? Secondly, when you cut your neck with a knife, the neck was not broken, but the knife broke it. Meat knife with iron neck? Is it the other way around? Looking at Mizuki again, he didn't cut off his own head with a knife and was very irritated. Advertisement. The pain tortured him, making his whole body extremely uncomfortable. Now he just wanted to cut off his head. In this way, he would not feel the pain in his body, but could only feel the pain in his head. If you reduce the amount of pain you can feel by half, you should feel a lot better. Damn it, I don't believe it. An ordinary katana wouldn't work, so he forcibly mobilized Chakra to condense a truth-seeking ball, and then transformed the truth-seeking ball into the shape of a sword. The blade struck his neck again. The knife cut through the flesh and bones, and a big head rolled to the ground. The body below the head could no longer be felt immediately, and the pain was indeed relieved. Now I just have a headache. The soul is damaged, but the soul has no pain, and pain can only be felt through the body. So, Mizuki's method really works. Ah, Mizuki let out a comfortable moan. This feeling is so good, although my head still hurts, it is much better than the pain all over my body. This scene made Yakushi Kabuto stupid. I cut off my own head and looked very comfortable after seeing it. There's something wrong with it, but what made him even more stunned was that although Mizuki cut off his own head, he did not die. What kind of monster is this? Yakushi Kabuto had the urge to turn around and run away. Even if you cut off your head, you won't die. Is this a human being? Although he had mastered the Ryuchi Cave Senjutsu and became inhuman, he still felt a little chilled when he saw the strange scene in front of him. Is it possible that he is also a member of the evil god cult? Orochimaru once joined the Akatsuki organization. Although Hidan only joined after Orochimaru left the Akatsuki organization, he still has some understanding of the Akatsuki organization. Orochimaru also collected Hidan's information, so Yakushi Kabuto naturally knew it. According to intelligence, Kakuzu and Hidan were last seen in the Land of Waves. At that time, Mizuki was also in the Land of Waves. Since then, Kakuzu and Hidan have never appeared again. Could it be that Mizuki captured Hidan, obtained the secrets of the evil god cult from Hidan, and gained immortality? Yakushi Kabuto made random guesses. He desperately wants to get Mizuki's body and then reincarnate it into the impure world to become his own gold medal fighter. So although what happened to Mizuki was weird, he didn't want to give up. Maybe I'll have to die later. Besides, no matter how strong the immortal body is, the separation of corpses is a fact. If I take action forcefully, he won't be able to fight against me with just his head. Advertisement. He remained calm and observed secretly. Sure enough, as time went by, Mizuki's movements gradually became smaller. Great, I'm going to die. Yakushi Kabuto was overjoyed and relieved at the same time. It turned out that he was not immortal. This kind of monster would be better off dead. When he dies, take his body away yourself, and then immediately go to Ryuchi Cave to find Hikase Sennin to lift the Pure Land restrictions and Pure World reincarnation. Then, launch the 4th Ninja War to destroy this false world. Finally, Mizuki's eyes were closed, and the movement was completely gone. Yakushi Kabuto smiled slightly and slowly walked towards Mizuki's corpse. At this time, Mizuki finally recovered from the previous pain, and finally freed up his extra mind to sense his surroundings. He had already sensed Yakushi Kabuto's approach. I was a little anxious and wanted to do something, but I couldn't. I didn't even dare to move. It hurt when I moved. Just now he used the flying thunder god technique, and the destination was actually his office, but just as he flew away, the severe pain directly interrupted the technique, causing him to automatically leave the space and fall out after flying only such a short distance. Even the pain forced him to look at his head, but it didn't relieve it. Opening his mouth, a new Yakushi Kabuto came out, intact. But this kick was so fast that he didn't move away at all. Yakushi Kabuto couldn't believe it. If this kick had hit his head, he would have been killed on the spot. But after all, I have been with Orochimaru, and I have mastered Orochimaru body replacement technique. The Kick King guy used to kick Madara at the 8 gate was not so brutal. But at this moment, there was a sudden sound of wind from the side, and a whip kick came across. Yakushi Kabuto's Sage Mode was sensitive, and he hurriedly tried to dodge. Now Yakushi Kabuto is approaching. Although he is anxious, he has no intention of using Flying Thunder God to escape again. There is such a strong physical expert in Phoenix Village. Who is he? Ridiculously powerful. This kick hit his lower back, sending his whole body flying forward, and his entire waist was also broken into 2 pieces by this kick. In other words, this kick directly destroyed his waist, leaving only the bottom of his buttocks and the top of his abdomen. If it really doesn't work, I can only use that trick. No amount of medical ninjutsu can save him. The 2 parts of Yakushi Kabuto's body were flying in the air. With such an injury, it was almost impossible to survive. Fortunately, the kick was to the waist, but if it was to the head. Yakushi Kabuto turned around and looked back, but at this glance, he felt like he was dying. Is the rescue coming? It's so fast and so powerful. Not only did I not escape, but even my immortal body suffered such serious injuries. Yakushi Kabuto quickened his pace and came to Mizuki's head, reaching out to pick it up. Chapter 292. Corpse. A headless corpse stood next to Mizuki's head, raising its legs and kicking sideways. It was obvious that it was this headless corpse that had just kicked Yakushi Kabuto. At this time, the headless corpse put down its feet and stood quietly next to Mizuki's head, seemingly guarding it. He faced the direction of Yakushi Kabuto. Although he had no eyes, Yakushi Kabuto always felt that he was being stared at by a pair of invisible eyes. It's really scary. Gudong. The sound of Yakushi Kabuto swallowing can be heard 3 kilometers away. It was obvious that he was really frightened. I was actually attacked by a corpse. His first reaction was, it's haunted. Yakushi Kabuto masters the Death Soul technique, which allows him to temporarily control corpses. But it has to be a complete corpse. Even the Dead Soul technique cannot control such a headless corpse. Moreover, during the recent period, Yakushi Kabuto, with the help of Tien Shinji, visited the cemeteries of various ninja villages and stole corpses wantonly. It can be said that he deals with corpses every day and has never been afraid. He didn't care about ghosts or anything like that. But now, he is scared. Ghosts are not scary, they are nothing more than dead souls that cannot affect reality. Maybe the ghost who controls the corpse to fight is not a normal ghost. He was almost kicked to death just now. This ghost is so terrifying. At this moment, he felt that Mizuki was dead, but not completely dead. The soul was still controlling the body. Thinking about it this way, it seems that the surrounding environment has become gloomy. Not a single chirp of birds or animals was heard, there was no sound of insects, not even the wind. This brings out the weirdness of the environment even more. What the hell is going on? No, I don't believe it. Yakushi Kabuto was scared, so in order to be brave, he yelled loudly. The next moment, he bit his finger. Summoning technique, formation of 10,000 snakes. Slapping his hands on the ground, the summoning technique flashed away, and then, a large number of snakes appeared out of thin air, rolling towards Mizuki's body like a wave. These snakes squabbled and neighed from their mouths. Advertisement. Yakushi Kabuto stared in Mizuki's direction, seeing that the snakes were about to cover the body. Just then, Mizuki's headless body moved. He first bent down, picked up Mizuki's head, held it in his hand, then gently stood on tiptoe with his left foot, and then slowly dropped it to the ground. The moment he landed, violent power exploded from his toes. Boom. The terrifying power spreads forward in a fan shape with the toes as the center. The group of snakes that bore the brunt of the attack did not even have time to scream, before they turned into blood mist. The energy blast didn't stop. Wherever it went, stones, soil, trees, flowers and plants, all turned into powder. Yakushi Kabuto hurriedly performed the technique again. Summoning technique. Uncle, come and repair the door. Orochimaru's third uncle came to repair the door, and when the news reached Yakushi Kabuto, only the first uncle was left. Kabuto has no means of defense, so this is all he can rely on now. A huge Rashomon gate rose from the ground, blocking Yakushi Kabuto. The next moment, the energy hit Rashomon. Like slapping a mosquito, Rashomon instantly flew out and turned into a meteor streaking towards the sky. There is no longer any cover in front of Yakushi Kabuto. It's over. Even Rashomon couldn't stop it. Yakushi Kabuto knew that he had no chance of survival under such violent energy. I am good at controlling corpses, but now I have to be killed by corpses. How ironic. That's fine. Goodbye to this false world. He was ready to die. But at the next moment, with a bang, his body disappeared, leaving only white smoke in place, which was swept away by the energy fluctuations that followed. Somewhere outside Phoenix Village, Yakushi Kabuto suddenly appeared. What am I doing? He was very confused. He was not dead. A voice next to him said, I used the reverse summoning technique to summon you here. I sensed that you were in danger. You are now the spokesperson of Ryuchi Cave. If you can survive, you should save it. Tien Shinjin looked at Yakushi Kabuto and said, You are so courageous. Mizuki is obviously not dead, but you dared to approach him. This time, I reacted quickly. Next time, the White Snake Sage will not be able to save you. Yakushi Kabuto said, I just wanted to take a chance. Who knows, after he died, the destructive power of the corpse would still be so powerful. He looked in the direction of Phoenix Village. Advertisement. I saw smoke and dust billowing in the forest to the south over there. If you look down from a high altitude, you can see a huge fan shape with a length of more than 30 kilometers and a width of more than 50 kilometers at the far end. This is a destroyed forest. In other words, Mizuki's headless corpse, just by using its toes, caused damage several times greater than Deidara's self-destruction. Fortunately, Mizuki's toe was pointed outside Phoenix Village. If it had been toward the center of the village, with just one tip of his toe, the village that Mizuki had worked so hard to build would be completely destroyed. Tien Shinji asked, Do you really think he is dead? Yakushi Kabuto frowned and said, What do you mean, is he not dead? I saw it with my own eyes. He cut off his own head and closed his eyes when he finally breathed his last. There is no heartbeat, the blood is coagulated, and even the body temperature is constantly dropping. It is obvious that he has lost his vitality. Tien Shinji shook her head. No, he is not dead at all. Although his body has lost its vitality, I can faintly feel his mental fluctuations. Somewhat similar to the legendary Otsutsuki Kagaya. Yakushi Kabuto said in surprise. Did he really obtain the immortality method of the evil god cult? Why don't we go over now and find a way to get rid of him? What should we do? We have offended him. When he recovers, we will all die. Yakushi Kabuto is speechless. Yakushi Kabuto asked, What mode? Yakushi Kabuto gets more and more numb the more I listen to it. At this time, Mizuki's head and eyes were open, with confusion in his eyes. And this damage is no weaker than the damage caused under active control. I can feel the terrifying energy contained in his body, which is as boundless as the starry sky and the sea. Even if he doesn't eat or drink for 3,000 years, he won't be weak at all. How is this going? It's really interesting that you can still play like this. Tien Shinji said, No, his immortality is not a method of the evil god cult, but a more advanced mode. On the other side, Mizuki's headless body, head held in hands. I cut off my own head, and my body lost the control of my brain nerves, but I can still fight on its own. Mizuki's kind, I can't tell what it is, but it's definitely more advanced. Tien Shinji said, You are the one who offended him, don't bring me with you. Tien Shinji said, I know the method of the evil god cult, which is to use the power of the evil god to protect yourself from any fatal harm. But that kind of immortality has flaws. For example, if you don't eat for a long time, your body will lack energy and it will weaken, in the end die. Chapter 293. It seems to be a door. My head still hurts a lot, but compared to the pain all over my body, it's much more comfortable. Therefore, Mizuki did not immediately put his head back on his neck, he couldn't bear the pain. There's so much movement here, they won't be able to notice it. I guess the first one to come must be Minato. Before he finished speaking, a yellow flash of light appeared in front of Mizuki. Minato looked at Mizuki and said in shock, Mizuki, your head. He said anxiously. The body is separated. Even Tsunade-senpai is helpless with this kind of injury. What's going on? Where is the enemy? Mizuki's head was held by his left hand, and his face was twisted and twitching due to pain, with a ferocious aura. He looked at Minato with his eyes open and said helplessly, I cut off the head myself. As for why, I don't have time to explain now. I will talk about other things later. Hurry up and find Tsunade to prepare a soothing medicine. If it's too late, Naruto will be hopeless. Tsunade's medical skills are the strongest in the ninja world, but she cannot heal injuries at the soul level. However, the soul and the body are closely connected. If the soul is damaged, the body will automatically secrete some special substances to slowly repair the soul. This type of special substance will only be secreted in greater amounts when the mood swings are smaller. Some soothing medicines can suppress mood swings and make people more calm. So even though Tsunade cannot directly cure soul injuries, the medicine it prepares can help repair souls. Mizuki can even give medicine to his disciples, triggering high multiply returns and getting medicine with stronger effects. When Minato heard that Naruto was going to die, he became anxious. Where is Naruto? How is he? Mizuki urged. Go to Tsunade to get the medicine. If you ask again, it will be too late. Minato was worried about Naruto, but he also knew his priorities. Seeing Mizuki urging him, he knew it was not the time to ask. He immediately walked to Mizuki and put his hand on Mizuki's shoulder, preparing to take Mizuki to find Tsunade. Mizuki said hurriedly, Don't, you go alone. My soul is seriously injured and I can't bear the torture. The previous experience of falling out halfway while casting Flying Thunder God made Mizuki still fearful and afraid to take risks. The less trouble, the better. Ask Tsunade to prepare 2 doses of medicine. Just one that calms the nerves will do. It can be strong or weak. After getting the medicine, first find Minazuki Shiro and bring him here to see me. Minato didn't dare to neglect, nodded and said, "Then wait here for a moment, I will be there soon." After saying that, he flew away with Flying Thunder God. Minato returned to the center of the village and immediately separated hundreds of shadow clone to find Tsunade, the Phoenix Tower, the school, the casino. Soon he found Tsunade drinking in a tavern. Although Tsunade was not drunk, she was still very confused. There was such a big movement there just now, but she didn't react much. However, Shizune hurriedly came to tell him something serious. But Tsunade didn't care. After Minato arrived, he happened to hear Tsunade say, "What big thing could happen?" "Well, there seemed to be some movement just now. Could there be another enemy coming?" "Don't worry, there are still Minato and Kakashi, so they don't need me yet." Although Minato admired Tsunade's big heart, Naruto was more important at the moment. "Tsunade-senpai, the matter is urgent, it is related to Naruto's life and death, and we need 2 doses of tranquilizing medicine." Mizuki said, "No matter how effective the medicine is, it will be fine." Tsunade was stunned and said, "Mizuki is still alive?" Minato nodded. Tsunade immediately sobered up half of his wine and said, "It's good to be alive, it's good to be alive." Then she asked, "What did you just say? What happened to Naruto?" Minato said again, "Naruto is dying and needs a tranquilizer, 2 doses, whatever the effect is." Tsunade immediately put down his glass. She saw that Minato looked anxious, so she didn't ask any more questions. She just said, "Go to my house immediately. In the room in the northwest corner of the first floor, there is a medicine cabinet in the 3rd row from the top. The drawer on the far left has what you want. Remember, you can only take 1 pill at a time." "Thank you." After Minato said that, he disappeared, and when he reappeared, he was already in front of Tsunade's house. The door was closed, so he didn't care too much and went in directly through the window. Then according to Tsunade's description, he quickly found the drawer and took out 2 pills from it. At the same time, one of his shadow clone also found Minato's Tsukihiro and automatically released the message to Minato's body. After Minato got the medicine, he disappeared from Tsunade's house and came to Shiro's side. "Shiro, it's too late to explain, Mizuki wants to see you." Although I don't understand why Mizuki insists on bringing Minazuki Shiro with him, since Mizuki said it, Minato did it. It was a matter of Naruto's life and death, and he didn't dare to be careless, let alone make his own decisions. After all, he knew so little that he could only listen to Mizuki. Before Bai could figure out the situation, Minato had already taken him away from the place. Before he could look at his surroundings, he saw Mizuki's headless body and the head held in his left hand. "Nani?" Shiro was shocked and immediately moved away from Minato. He subconsciously thought that it was Minato who killed Mizuki. And now that Minato has brought him here, he may also be killed. "Minato-senpai, why did you do this? Mizuki-sama, he resurrected you and your wife. He is your benefactor. How can you kill him?" Advertisement Minato. At this time, Mizuki opened his mouth and said, "Shiro, I'm not dead yet." "Ah!" Bai exclaimed in shock when he heard Mizuki talking. "Can you still talk if your head falls off? Illusion?" "I must be under an illusion." Mizuki didn't bother to explain and asked Minato, "How is it? Did you get the medicine?" Minato nodded and spread out his right hand, with 2 blue pills lying quietly in his palm. Mizuki forced a smile on his lips and said, "Okay." Immediately afterwards, Mizuki's 2 hands moved together, holding his own head on the left and right, and gropingly placed it on his neck. After it was installed, I felt with my hand whether the incisions were aligned and turned it left and right. This scene was so pale that even Minato, who had seen a lot, was twitching at the corner of his eye. What kind of monster is this B****ch? After the head was placed, the incision healed immediately. In the blink of an eye, it grew into one piece, and not even a trace of breakage was visible. At the same time, the pain spread throughout the body. "Ah!" Mizuki couldn't help crying out in pain, and his whole body began to tremble. "It really hurts. Quick, give me the medicine." Taking the 2 pills from Minato, Mizuki threw them to Shiro. "Catch it." Bai still thought he was under an illusion, but when he saw the pill being thrown towards him, he subconsciously caught it. Minato on the side was dumbfounded. "Are you so anxious for me to find medicine? Aren't you trying to save Naruto? Why did you give the medicine to Bai?" Open black lens bracket ding. Close black lens bracket. Host grants disciple Shui Wu Yubai an ordinary tranquilizing pill, which triggers a 1000 times return. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to host for receiving a requiem pill. Close black lens bracket. Requiem pill. Reduces the pain from the soul and doubles the recovery speed of soul injuries. Close black lens bracket. Mizuki was overjoyed. Although the recovery speed is only doubled, it reduces the pain, which is what Mizuki needs most. Just slow down your recovery. As long as it doesn't hurt that much, it's easy to say anything. Open black lens bracket ding. Close black lens bracket. Host grants disciple Sui Wu Yubai an ordinary tranquilizing pill, which triggers a 3000 times return. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to host for receiving a powerful requiem pill. Close black lens bracket. Powerful requiem pill. Greatly reduces the pain from the soul, and increases the recovery speed of soul injuries by 10 times. Close black lens bracket. The second time, it was 3000 times higher, and the requiem pill returned had the word, strong, in it. The effect is greatly improved. Mizuki, What are you doing? Minato couldn't help but finally asked. Mizuki didn't explain, and he couldn't explain the system clearly. He gave Minato a reassuring look and said, "Don't worry, I have my own arrangements." After saying that, he took out a pill in his hand and immediately threw it into his mouth and swallowed it. Minato took a look and saw that the blue pill was a tranquilizer pill, wasn't it? He obviously gave by the 2 pills he gave him, so why did he take out another one? Could it be that he originally had tranquilizing pills on him? Minato is puzzled, wondering what Mizuki is doing. Looking at Mizuki, the Requiem pill started to work immediately after entering his stomach. Mizuki clearly felt that the pain all over his body was lessening. The body no longer trembles, the teeth no longer clench, and the whole body feels very comfortable and cool, like the feeling of being immersed in cold water when the skin has just been burned by boiling water. Ah, it feels so good. Although the pain is still there, it is much less severe than before. If it was a sharp pain like pulling out a fingernail before, now it is a slight pain like pulling out a hair. So, Mizuki feels very comfortable. After all, the huge difference from severe pain to mild pain is too obvious. Minato on the side couldn't stand it anymore and asked, "Mizuki, what are you doing? You obviously have pills. Why do you ask me to go to Tsunade to ask for them? What do you mean by giving them away when I get them? It's really a confusing operation, I can't understand it at all." Mizuki said, "Don't worry, we're going to save Naruto now." After saying that, he took Minato and Shiro together and entered the Kamui space. Before he came out of the Kamui space and used the Flying Thunder God technique, the feeling was so refreshing that it was as good as ultimate, and I was scared to think about it. Advertisement however, this time I traveled through space and took 2 people with me, but I didn't encounter the same situation as before. Naruto. After entering the Kamui space, the first thing Minato saw was Naruto lying on the ground with weak breath. He exclaimed in surprise and swooped over. Upon checking, Minato's heart dropped. Naruto had been breathing out more and taking in less air. His body clearly contains terrifying vitality, but it's useless. But strangely, Naruto didn't have any injuries on his body, and the inside of his body was also intact. There are no injuries, but he is almost dead. Plus Mizuki wants to take medicine to calm his nerves. It means he is mentally damaged. Minato realized the problem. He frowned and thought. The mental injury is so serious that it even affects the life of the body. How can ordinary tranquilizers save such an injury? He turned around and asked, "Mizuki, Naruto, can he really be saved?" Mizuki said, "Don't worry, we will be saved." He took out another blue pill. This is a powerful Requiem pill. That's right, for insurance, what Mizuki just took was a Requiem pill that would be returned 1,000 times. And this powerful Requiem pill, which was returned 3,000 times, was left by Mizuki to Naruto. Mizuki ate 3 sacred tree fruits, and had been drinking divine energy tea before. His soul strength exceeded Naruto's by countless times. Although when the God of Light caused the soul to self-destruct, Mizuki was closer and Naruto was further away, so Mizuki suffered greater damage. But Mizuki's soul is stronger, so his condition is better than Naruto's. Naruto's soul foundation was poor, and his condition after being injured was also poor. Mizuki was afraid that the ordinary Requiem pill could not save him, so he left the good ones to him. As for Mizuki himself, it doesn't matter if he recovers slowly. Feed him and eat it. Minato found a powerful Requiem pill and immediately felt that this pill was different from the soothing pill he had received from Tsunade before. This feeling is very strong. Even when his nose smelled a little bit of medicinal fragrance from a distance, he immediately became energetic. Maybe this pill is really effective. Full of expectation, he fed the pill into Naruto's mouth and helped Naruto swallow it. The pill entered Naruto's stomach, and Minato immediately noticed that Naruto's breathing stabilized. The death energy that originally emitted from his body quickly dissipated. Mizuki stood aside and breathed a sigh of relief. Sasuke is dead, but Naruto must not die. He is the only apprentice with S-level qualifications left. Minato was relieved to see Naruto slowly recovering. Although he won't wake up in a short time, he will wake up sooner or later. Mizuki, what happened? Why are you and Naruto so traumatized? Mizuki sighed. It's not the God of Light. He is no match for me. I don't know what method he used in the end, and he had a huge explosion of mental power. That mental shock is terrifying to me now when I think about it. At that time, I couldn't bear it and fainted. When I woke up, I found that Naruto had also fainted here. As for the Divine Envoy of Light, I don't know if he is dead or has escaped. Most likely he has escaped. He said he will come back to me sooner or later. Hey, after all, it comes from the Divine Realm, and its methods are really hard to guard against. Minato said. No matter what, you are all still alive, so everyone can rest assured. By the way, what happened in that forest just now? Mizuki said. Oh, it's Yakushi Kabuto from the Senin village of Tiano country. He sneaked into the village secretly for some unknown purpose. He happened to encounter me who was seriously injured. He overestimated his ability and wanted to kill me. I gave him a lesson and then ran away. It was because of my poor condition, otherwise such a clown would not have been able to leave alive. By the way, Naruto and I disappeared for a few days. Did something big happen outside? Minato said. You have disappeared for 10 days. There is not much happening outside. The only thing worthy of attention is the Kingdom of Wind. Sand Shinobi Village, the country of the wind has broken up. Sand Shinobi Village no longer obeys the orders of the daimyo of the Land of Wind. If the daimyo wants to use the power of ninjas, he is entrusted with a task, and the commission fee is very expensive. The daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind has to swallow his anger temporarily because of the war with the Kingdom of Birds. Now the daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind has entrusted Sand Shinobi Village to send dozens of ninjas to destroy the Great Wall on the border of the Kingdom of Wind. The 50,000 warriors of the Kingdom of Wind are also ready to attack at any time. In the south of the Kingdom of Birds, at the junction of the Kingdom of Winds, a wooden Great Wall spreads into the distance along the border. Outside the Great Wall is the Kingdom of Wind, where there is yellow sand everywhere, few animals and plants, and a harsh environment. There is an oasis 100 miles away, and an army of 50,000 warriors from the Kingdom of Wind is once again stationed. They have received orders that the Great Wall of Bird Country will be damaged in 3 days, and the damage will be done in more than one location. It was damaged in many places, and repairs would not be that fast. At that time, the 50,000 strong army will look for an opportunity to pour in from a gap and slaughter them wantonly. All the warriors are looking forward to rushing into the Bird Kingdom in 3 days and plundering the Bird Kingdom's property. In the northern sky, a black spot quickly approached. It's small and not very noticeable at first, but as it gets closer, things get bigger and bigger. What is that? The warriors of the Kingdom of Wind all noticed the flying thing. Someone with sharp eyes saw it clearly and said doubtfully, "It seems like it's a door." Chapter 294. Even if I am the enemy of the entire ninja world, I will not be afraid. The warriors were all watching the fun, and a door flew into the sky. It was amazing. The warrior leader heard the noise outside and asked, "What happened outside?" Immediately, one of his subordinates reported, "Sir, leader, something is flying from the direction of Bird Country. It looks like a door, it's very big." The leader frowned. A flying door. He got up and was about to go out to take a look. At this moment, a loud noise deafened his ears. Boom. The ground shook wildly, like a magnitude 10 earthquake. The leader lost his balance and fell to the ground, and the military tent above his head collapsed. His mind went blank, and then he fainted. I don't know how long it took, but the leader woke up. When he climbed out of the collapsed military tent and saw the scene outside, his mentality collapsed. A huge door was embedded in the ground, with corpses of warriors lying on the ground around it. Those who are close are not human-like. Those who were a little further away were bleeding from 7 holes, and they died in extremely miserable ways. It was obvious that the vibration force of the door hitting the ground impacted their brains. There were also some unlucky ones further away who were struck to death by the sand and gravel thrown up when the door fell to the ground. As for those who were pressed down by the door, let alone those whose bones were probably crushed. The leader glanced around, and wherever he saw, no one was standing on the ground intact. Looking at this scene, he couldn't believe it was real. Why is this happening? In the Kingdom of Wind, when the daimyo learned that more than half of his 50,000 strong army was killed by a door falling from the sky, his face turned green with anger, a mouthful of old blood spurted out, his breathing became rapid, his eyes turned white, and he was on the verge of collapse. It looked like I couldn't hold it any longer. The ministers were so scared that they turned pale and immediately called for medical personnel. It took a long time to get the daimyo out of danger and slowly wake up. The first time he woke up, the daimyo shouted, "Issue me a ninja strangulation order." The ninjas of Phoenix Village attacked me, the warriors of the Kingdom of Wind, and violated the ninja ban. I will unite all forces in the ninja world to destroy Phoenix Village. The daimyo didn't know whether it was the ninjas from Phoenix Village who did it. But this is not important and does not need to be confirmed. Anyway, the blame lies with Fenghuang Village. Tens of thousands of samurai were killed and injured. This loss was too great, and the daimyo couldn't bear this tone. Just take this opportunity to destroy Fenghuang Village. The strangulation order from the Kingdom of Wind was sent out that day, and was received by all countries and villages in the entire ninja world. For a moment, 1,000 waves were stirred up, and the entire ninja world was boiling. Everyone was surprised. Phoenix Village really dared to take action against the samurai during the confrontation between the two countries. But he was surprised. Only the daimyo from each country responded. None of the 5 major ninja villages and the minor ninja villages expressed support. Although there are not many people in Fenghuang Village, no one dares to underestimate its terror. During the Rock Shinobi Village Chunin exam, the performance of the genin from Phoenix Village had already shocked the major shinobi villages. Even the weakest Hyuga Hinata was beaten to the point where the Rock Shinobi Village Jonin were helpless. When the 5 major ninja villages gathered in the Kingdom of Birds, the sand giant created by Gaara, Naruto and Sasuke killed Shimura Danzo in front of the Konoha Shinobi, and Senju Hashirama was unable to do anything to them after they arrived. Advertisement. This all shows that the little devils in Phoenix Village are not easy to deal with. Later, Mount Myoboku Great Toad Sage visited Phoenix Village in person, but was beaten and defeated by Naruto. This made the entire ninja world see the horror of Phoenix Village. Naruto is so strong, how terrifying must Mizuki be as Naruto's master? Although there are rumors that Phoenix Village has encountered a powerful enemy during this time, and Mizuki and Naruto have disappeared, but who knows if this could be Mizuki's trick again. Mizuki has faked his death once before, what if it happens again this time? It's really not easy to mess with. In the Kingdom of Birds, Daimyo Toki also learned about the Ninja World's strangulation order, and she was so panicked that she hurried to Phoenix Village and asked to see Mizuki. Mizuki does not have an office in Fungying Building. Although taking the Requiem pill doubled the recovery speed of soul injuries, because the injury was so severe, it was impossible to fully recover in a short time. If possible, do your best to relax at home. It's best to rest at home. The daimyo came, and Mizuki gave him face and met her. Tsunade, Minato and others also accompanied him. As soon as they met, Toki said, Mizuki-sama is in serious trouble. The daimyo of the Valley of the Wind has issued a ninja strangulation order against Phoenix Village. The Ninja World strangulation order. Mizuki was stunned and asked, what is that? Tsunade explained. The Ninja World strangulation order calls on all forces in the ninja world to carry out devastating strangulation on the target. This tradition originates from the Sengoku era, targeting certain evil ninja families. Generally after receiving the strangulation order, all forces will respond positively and then agree on a time to take action together. All the major forces in the ninja world have sent masters to attack together, so under the strangulation order, no force can escape. Since Grandpa established the one country one village system, there has only been one strangulation order issued in the ninja world. At this point, Tsunade did not continue speaking, but looked at Kushina. Kushina looked sad and took over the topic and said, in recent decades, there has been only one strangulation order, and the target of the strangulation was Uzushio village in the country of Uzumaki. Even Konoha is powerless to stop it and can only watch the destruction of Uzushio village. Minato stood next to Kushina, silently holding her hand and comforting her quietly. Mizuki sighed and said nothing more. He turned to look at Daimyo Toki and asked, do you know the reason why the Kingdom of Wind issued the strangulation order? Ibis said. The strangulation order issued by the Kingdom of Wind stated that the ninjas of Phoenix Village summoned a Rashomon gate, and more than 50,000 warriors of the Kingdom of Wind stationed 100 miles away from the border were killed on the spot. There were more than 27,000, and the rest were all injured to varying degrees. Mizuki was surprised. A Rashomon gate can kill more than 20,000 people. Are you kidding me? Although Rashomon is big, it won't kill so many people. Unless more than 20,000 people are crowded together and they take the initiative to be smashed. He turned around and asked Minato and others, did you do it? Everyone shook their heads. Mizuki said, it seems that someone framed us. Forget it, it's not a big deal. At this time, Minato said, didn't you say before that the Rashomon from Yakushi Kabuto summoning was kicked away by you? And the direction of flight is exactly the direction of the Kingdom of Wind. Advertisement. Mizuki slapped his forehead and said, yeah, why did I forget this? Doesn't it mean that I was the one who killed the samurai at the Rashomon gate? The injury to his soul caused Mizuki's brain to be full of reactions. If Minato hadn't reminded him, he wouldn't have thought of it. At this time, Tsunade said, this is more than 300 miles away from the border of the Kingdom of Birds, and the warriors of the Kingdom of Wind are stationed 100 miles outside the border. In other words, you kicked Rashomon away 400 miles with a single kick. Everyone present cursed in their hearts, pervert. Tsunade prides himself on having strange powers, but compared to Mizuki, his own strange powers are like weakness. Haha, I didn't mean to do that either. Hey, I didn't expect to kill so many people at once. It's such a sin. It's all Yakushi Kabuto's fault. Who asked him to summoning out of Rashomon? So many people died, and it's all his fault. Seeing Mizuki still laughing and blaming others, Toki was really worried. Mizuki-sama, now is not the time to blame anyone. What we should consider now is how to deal with the strangulation order. Fenghuang village was strangled, how is my country of birds still doing? The ibis is extremely anxious. I am afraid that this time, the end of the bird kingdom has really come. Mizuki smiled lightly and said, Daimyo-sama, don't worry, it's just a strangulation order, it's nothing. Even if I am the enemy of the entire ninja world, I, Mizuki, will not be afraid. Haki said this, making Toki stunned for a moment. But then there was doubt. If we get to that point, don't blame me for being cruel. Don't worry, it's okay. It doesn't matter even if Naruto and I can't take action. I originally planned to peacefully unify the ninja world, but if you don't know what to do, don't blame me for using violence. Without you and Naruto, the rest of us alone may not be able to handle it. Not to mention all the ninjas in the ninja world, even if we come to 1 or 2 great ninja villages, we will be unable to resist. Mizuki's confidence reduced everyone's worries a lot. Although Toki was still a little worried, he had no choice but to return to Damingfu. If it does come, just release a 10 tails and a few tailed beast bombs, and the problem will be solved. Without Mizuki and Naruto, the rest is really not going to work. Is it really that strong? In this case, why are you looking pale and sluggish now, looking half dead? Leaning on the sofa, holding the teacup and smelling the aroma of tea, Mizuki looked a little gloomy. Mizuki calmed down again and returned home to continue recuperating. He's not worried at all. Although Namikaze Minato, Tsunade, Kakashi, etc. are all strong, they are not strong enough to face an army of ninjas alone. Others also looked worried. Naruto hasn't woken up yet. Even if he wakes up, I'm afraid he won't be able to fight for a short time. As for the trump card, I still have it. Even if all the ninjas in the ninja world come, it doesn't matter. Mizuki waved his hand, with a relaxed expression on his face and no pressure at all. Minato on the side said, Mizuki, you are indeed very strong, but in your current state, can you handle it? Chapter 295. The helplessness of the famous name of the Kingdom of Wind. Damn ninja. These other types of people should be completely exterminated. In the Kingdom of Wind, the daimyo roared. The Kingdom of Wind is one of the 5 major kingdoms. As a daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind, he is the person who stands at the pinnacle of power in the ninja world. But when he issued the order to kill, not a single ninja village responded. This was simply a shame and a great humiliation. Fury. I wish that all the ninjas in the ninja world would die immediately. Come on, this daimyo is going to Sand Shinobi village. The daimyo of the Land of Wind rode in a sedan chair, guarded by a large group of warriors, and headed straight to Sand Shinobi village. The main street of Sand Shinobi village is very quiet. When the village's top officials announced a change in the way of cooperation with the daimyos of the Land of Wind, the villagers with any sense realized that they could no longer stay in this village. A large number of villagers left Sand Shinobi village with their families, making the originally not very lively village even more depressed. In addition to ordinary villagers leaving, some ninjas also defected. Many people feel that this village has little hope and it is better to develop elsewhere. When the group came to the entrance of Sand Shinobi village, the daimyo opened the curtain and looked forward. When he saw that there were only some guards at the entrance of the village but no one to greet them, he was furious. How brave. I came here in person, but no one greeted me at Sand Shinobi village. Do they still have my name in their eyes? He said loudly. Go, notify the senior management of Sand Shinobi, and everyone will come to the village entrance to greet me, otherwise it will make them look good. Immediately, a general stepped forward, with a majestic and arrogant look, his eyes full of contempt. He shouted to the ninja guarding the gate. Bind your dog eyes, the daimyo-sama is here, why didn't the people in your village come to greet him? The ninjas at the entrance of the village, headed by Yura, glanced at each other and said lightly, we are just gatekeepers. The general snorted coldly, cursed, watchdog, and then walked into the village to notify the senior management of Sand Shinobi village to come out to greet him. As a result, as soon as he took a step into the canyon, he heard a clang sound, which was the sound of a knife being unsheathed. The next moment, blood flowed from his neck, and he fell straight to the ground. Yura calmly put the sword back into its scabbard and said to the surrounding shunin and genin, anyone outside the village who dares to enter the village without mercy will be killed without mercy. The killing of the samurai general was witnessed by the daimyo and his party, except for the daimyo who was sitting in the sedan chair. They scolded each other, while drawing their weapons and assuming fighting postures. Be bold, court death, protect your lord. The daimyo was in the sedan chair and didn't know what had happened. He asked, what's wrong? Daimyo-sama, something bad happened. Sando was killed by the ninjas of Sand Shinobi village. It seems to me that they wanted to assassinate you, daimyo-sama. The daimyo was shocked and shouted hurriedly, hurry, protect me and leave. These lowly ninjas, how dare they? Advertisement. He was panicked. Although there were many samurai guarding him, how could samurai be the opponent of ninjas? My lord, don't panic. The other party just killed Sandor and has no intention of continuing. Hearing this, the daimyo opened the curtain and looked forward cautiously. Sure enough, those ninjas were still guarding the entrance of the canyon and had no intention of getting closer. The panic in his heart immediately dissipated and turned into pride. I am a daimyo, a descendant of God, and the most noble being in the ninja world. These lowly ninjas only deserve to live under my authority. They dare to kill my men and vent their grievances, but they dare not do anything disrespectful to me. Huh, rubbish is rubbish. He looked at Sando's body on the ground again, and his expression turned gloomy. After all, it was his own men who died like this, and they died in front of him. These despicable ninjas went too far. But when he thought about the purpose of his visit today, he endured it. Marty, you go to negotiate with them. It's okay if no one greets you, but I have to enter the village today and meet with the village's senior officials. The daimyo ordered again. When Ma-Ti heard this, he said, good guy, aren't you asking yourself to die? But if you don't listen to the name, you will die if you turn around. So he responded. Yes, Lord Daimyo. He signaled with his eyes and stepped forward at the same time. After taking a few steps, he suddenly let out a scream and fell to the ground holding his feet. My feet, my feet. The daimyo said angrily in the sedan chair, what happened again? Immediately someone Kaido said, Daimyo-sama, Madi-sama, he accidentally stepped on a poisonous scorpion. The daimyo had a sullen face, damn it, if you step on a poisonous scorpion at this time, do you think this daimyo is a fool? He mentally gave Ma a death notice. This kind of waste who was greedy for life and afraid of death will find a reason to send him to death in a few days. Shaji, go. Then, Shaji took 2 steps and fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth. Lord Daimyo, Lord Shaji has suffered from heatstroke. He is foaming at the mouth and is about to die. The daimyo clenched his fists. He also ordered several people to go to negotiate with Sand Shinobi, but without exception, these people either had something wrong with them or felt uncomfortable there. The remaining people were even more desperate, and they fell down first without waiting for the big names to call their names. The daimyo was so angry that he wished he could order the samurai to chop all these pieces of shit right now. These cowards are all unreliable. In desperation, the daimyo could only step out of the sedan chair and prepare to step forward in person. Anyway, these ninjas don't dare to kill themselves. Lord Daimyo, be careful. Lord Daimyo, how could you go and talk to these lowly watchdogs in person? It's all my fault. If I hadn't been stung by a scorpion, how could I have let Lord Daimyo go out in person? Lord Daimyo, I'm suffering from heatstroke and I'm about to die. Damn it, this kind of thing should be my responsibility, but now it's causing you, Daimyo, to get off the sedan yourself. I deserve to die, I deserve to die. Advertisement. The daimyo looked cold and said nothing as he walked towards the mouth of the canyon. Yura immediately stepped in front and said calmly, Lord Daimyo, this is Sand Shinobi Village. Non-Sand Shinobi Village residents are not allowed to enter. The daimyo scolded. Presumptuous. So what about Sand Shinobi Village? This is the land of the Kingdom of Wind. This entire village belongs to me. I can enter as long as I want. Yuliang was unmoved. This was once the private land of the Chisha clan. Although it is within the territory of the Kingdom of Wind, it is not owned by the Kingdom of Wind. The daimyo was momentarily speechless. Yuliang added. Besides, the noble body of the daimyo, if something happens in the village, none of us can afford it. These words carry some threatening meaning. The daimyo narrowed his eyes and said, Why, you still dare to take action against me? I am the daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind, your king, and the one you must be loyal to. Yura. Sorry, the cooperation between Sand Shinobi Village and the Kingdom of Wind has ended. The ninjas of Sand Shinobi Village are no longer your subordinates. We only believe in our own ninja way. So please come back, otherwise do anything else at your own risk. The daimyo angrily shouted. You really dare to attack me? I am a daimyo, a descendant of God, and the most noble existence in the entire ninja world. If you dare to mess around, you will be attacked by all the forces in the ninja world. Yura smiled and said, It doesn't matter. Sand Shinobi Village has reached this point now and doesn't care about anything anymore. What about the descendants of God? If we are not given a way to survive, let alone the descendants of God, even God cannot order us. The daimyo was furious. His own authority has suffered huge challenges. Not even a single shinobi village responded to the strangulation order issued. Oh my god, it turns out that just as Granny Chio said, the daimyo will offer to increase the money and cooperate with the village again. He turned around and walked along the canyon towards the village, whispering to himself as he walked. This hole must not be opened, otherwise the Kingdom of Wind will be unstable from now on, and even the entire ninja world will set off a frenzy to overthrow the daimyo. Sand Shinobi Village and the Country of Wind have been completely severed, and there is no possibility of cooperation again. Sand Shinobi Village, there is another way out, the daimyo of the Land of Wind, let him fend for himself. He suppressed his anger and said, I'm here today to discuss re-cooperating with Sand Shinobi Village. Chio said with a mocking look on his face. Haha, even if it's 2 billion taels per year, I won't agree to it. Thinking of this, he couldn't wait, so he directly used the body flicker technique to see Chio as quickly as possible. Yuliang's eyes lit up when he heard 1 billion taels. 1 billion taels. With so much money every year, Sand Shinobi Village will never be short of money again. Go and inform Chio and say that I was negligent before. I am willing to cooperate with Sand Shinobi Village again with an annual capital of 1 billion taels. The one country one village system is a very good system and should not end here. He finally realized the importance of Ninja Village. In that case, please wait a moment, Daimyo-sama, I will inform Granny Chio immediately. Without the support of Sand Shinobi Village, he found that it was difficult to do anything. He was helpless. 1 billion taels per year, cooperate with the village again. Chapter 296. Let the Kingdom of Wind choose a new name. The daimyo of the Land of Wind wanted to enter Sand Shinobi Village but was refused, and he gritted his teeth in anger. No, I have to see Granny Chio today. He originally thought that he was a daimyo, a figure standing at the top of the ninja world, and those ninjas were just lowly warriors, poor people driven by him. Just like Sand Shinobi Village, you're not at your own mercy. Do they dare to refuse if you want to order them to do something? If you want to deduct funds, you can deduct funds. Do they dare to object? This made his heart swell, become arrogant, and stop treating ninjas as human beings. But Sand Shinobi Village and the Wind Country branch house caught him off guard. Then a Rashomon gate flew from the Kingdom of Birds and killed more than 20,000 of his warriors, making him realize that he was too naive. The Ninja World Strangulation Order was sent out, but not a single ninja village responded. Even the small ninja villages in small countries chose to ignore this strangulation order. The daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind saw everything clearly. Without the support of Sand Shinobi Village, I am useless. Therefore, he came today to get back on good terms with Sand Shinobi Village, and even proposed a condition of 1 billion taels of funding per year. The previous Sand Shinobi Village had a maximum annual budget of 600 million taels, so he felt that Chio would never refuse. But the fact was beyond his expectation, Chio refused. Yura said calmly. Sorry, Granny Chio is very busy and doesn't have time to see you. Besides, you are not welcome in Sand Shinobi Village, please come back. The daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind was not willing to give up and walked directly towards the mouth of the canyon. Yura immediately stopped in front. What, you really dare to stop me? The daimyo said coldly. Sand Shinobi Village, do you really dare to violate the traditions of the ninja world and take action against a great name like me? Yuliang's expression changed slightly. Although he spoke very toughly, he even threatened the daimyo by saying that he would be responsible for the consequences. But if he was really asked to take action against the daimyo, he would not dare. In the minds of everyone in the ninja world, the daimyo is the supreme being. Even the Kage of each village dare not disrespect the daimyo. Ninjas may not necessarily take the names of those small countries to heart, but for the names of the 5 major countries, very few ninjas would dare to have evil intentions. The daimyo of the 5 great nations claim to be descendants of gods and have a distinguished status. Anyone who kills a daimyo will be punished by God, which will be extremely miserable. Of course, a jonin like Yura would sneer at this statement. It is just a statement about being a descendant of a god and deceiving people. But even so, Yuliang did not dare to take action against the daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind. Because if he dares, Sand Shinobi Village will be destroyed. Once something happens to the daimyo of the Land of Wind in Sand Shinobi Village, the daimyo of the other 4 countries will definitely order the 4 great ninja villages to attack Sand Shinobi Village and will not stop until Sand Shinobi Village is razed to the ground. Don't get me wrong, they are not avenging the name of the Kingdom of Wind, but to maintain their dominance. They wanted the entire ninja world to know that the only outcome for anyone who dared to attack a daimyo would be death. Today, this daimyo must enter Sand Shinobi Village. The daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind is actually very scared. After all, some people are not smart. If they attack him, it will be the end. But in order to keep his Kingdom of Wind, he had to be brave and act tough. His purpose today is very clear, which is to regain the support of Sand Shinobi Village. He was frightened by the Rashomon that fell from the sky. He was afraid that more than 20,000 warriors died this time, but what about next time? Lord Daimyo, don't make it difficult for me. Yura frowned and raised his hands, planning to form a seal. Although you can't take action against the daimyo, you can use ninjutsu to organize him to enter Sand Shinobi Village. At this moment, an old voice shouted from behind, "Stop." Yuliang stopped immediately. He could tell without turning around that the person coming was Granny Chiyo. When the daimyo saw Chiyo, he was overjoyed and said, "Grandma Chiyo, I knew you were not such a heartless person. I come today with sincerity. The Kingdom of Wind is willing to reconcile with Sand Shinobi Village. The annual funding is 1 billion taels. If I think it is low, I can add more." Chiyo chuckled and said, "Lord Daimyo, you don't have to do this. Since Sand Shinobi Village has terminated its cooperation with you, it has no plans to look back. Your trip today is destined to be in vain." The daimyo looked ugly. He didn't expect Chiyo to speak so decisively. But he wasn't willing to give up. Advertisement. Grandma Chiyo was right. Back then, your husband Akasaka Raito-sama, together with my father, built Sand Shinobi Village, ending the war in the Land of Wind, and Sand Shinobi Village became one of the 5 major villages in one fell swoop. Although Master Leto and my father are no longer here, the friendship between us will last forever. The country of Wind and Sand Shinobi Village have always been close partners. If we terminate our cooperation rashly, how can we go to the Pure Land to meet our ancestors after our death? It was all my fault before. I will apologize publicly and ask Granny Chiyo to abandon her predecessors and let both of us get back together. The words of the daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind were very sincere. First he played the emotional card, and then he sincerely apologized and kept his posture very low. But Granny Chiyo's expression didn't change at all. She still had a faint smile on her face, but everyone could see the indifference in her eyes. Needless to say, Sand Shinobi Village has made a decision and will not change it. As for what he will look like after death, haha, Lido is my husband, not my ancestor. I've finished speaking, please come back. Chiyo turned and left. The daimyo of the country of Wind shouted anxiously, "Grandma Chiyo, are you really so heartless? Aren't you afraid that I will completely block Sand Shinobi Village, leaving you with no way to survive? You ninjas have no production capacity, and Sand Shinobi Village is located in a barren desert. Without the support of the entire country, this place will quickly decline. Ninjas also need to eat and drink." Chiyo paused and said, "Whatever you want." The daimyo of the Land of Wind is really desperate now. Without the support of Sand Shinobi Village and the protection of ninjas, how long can he survive relying on samurai? No, he stood there and shouted. At this time, Chiyo turned back and said, "Finally, I will give you a suggestion. Go to the bird country in person, present a letter of surrender, and apologize. Of course, you can also secretly go to Phoenix Village. Maybe you can drag Phoenix Village to the Kingdom of Wind, maybe." After saying that, Chiyo left directly and never looked back. The daimyo's eyes immediately lit up. Yes, I can bring Phoenix Village to the Kingdom of Wind. Compared to a small place like the Kingdom of Birds where birds don't poop, the attraction of the Kingdom of Wind is definitely 100 times greater. Mizuki from Phoenix Village will definitely agree if he promises huge profits. He looked at Chiyo's retreating figure, murderous intent flashing through his heart. HMPH, today you are indifferent to me, but tomorrow I will make it impossible for you to reach your heights. When Phoenix Village moves to the Kingdom of Wind, my first order is to have Mizuki destroy this broken Sand Shinobi Village. Not a single ninja in the village will be left alive. He took his men and left in a hurry. But instead of returning to Daming Mansion, he went straight to the country of Rain. Shio returned to the village and walked towards the cage tower. As soon as he got downstairs, Ebizo came to meet him. Is this idea you came up with really feasible? Shio asked. Ebizo. No strategy can be 100% successful. Shio sighed and said. Hey, I didn't expect that we would get to this point. Ebizo. Sister, the matter is over, there is no need to feel anything. Anbu came to report that the daimyo and the others have gone to the land of rain, so proceed as planned. As long as it succeeds, Sand Shinobi Village will be on a smooth road from now on, and the development of the village will no longer be restricted. In just a few years, the village's strength will be fully improved. Shio nodded. The two walked into the cage tower, whereupon Shio summoned more than a dozen Anbu. The three of you secretly go to the Kingdom of Birds and lurk outside Phoenix Village. If the daimyo dies in Phoenix Village, come back and report immediately. If the daimyo did not die in Phoenix Village, then it would be up to you to kill him and then put the blame on Phoenix Village. Remember, no matter what, the daimyo must die in the bird country. The three Anbu turned around and left quickly without any doubts. None of them dared to kill a daimyo blatantly, not even Shio. He didn't even dare to let the daimyo die near Sand Shinobi Village. But if the blame is placed on Fenghuang Village, there will be no worries. Looking at the remaining Anbu, Shio ordered, you go to the Daming Mansion, pretend to be wandering ninjas, and kill all the people on the list. No one can be left alive. These Anbu also took orders to leave. Shio frowned deeply, while Ebizo smiled. After the death of the daimyo and his people, we will have the final say in the Kingdom of Wind. The future of the barrier, Sand Shinobi Village, is already foreseeable. Advertisement. On the side of the daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind, the group arrived at the border and did not enter the Kingdom of Rain. Instead, they moved along the border and finally reached the junction of the Kingdom of Rain and the Kingdom of Birds. There was no great wall blocking them here, and they successfully entered the Kingdom of Birds. Next, they cautiously went to Fenghuang Village day and night. Finally, after a few days, the group arrived 3 or 4 miles away from Fenghuang Village. The daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind sent 2 people to enter Fenghuang Village first. It was early in the morning, and Mizuki was preparing breakfast in the kitchen. These days, he rarely goes to the office to work. He teaches Tsunade and Minato everything in the village. Especially Mizuki, who once served as Hokage and has a very strong ability to handle official affairs. Mizuki is very relieved to let him take care of the village. Suddenly there was a knock on the door and Gaara came. Gaara, come to me early in the morning, are you okay? Mizuki asked with a smile. Gaara opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but nothing came out for a while. Mizuki smiled and said, what's the matter? Is there anything you can't say? Do you have a crush on a girl from a certain family and want me to help you be a matchmaker? Gaara immediately said. No, it was 2 people from the Kingdom of Wind. They found me and said. Mizuki frowned and asked, what else can you say? Gaara. They also said that the daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind is here, just outside the village, and wants to see you. Mizuki was surprised. The great name of the Kingdom of Wind is here, and he wants to see me. What does he, the great name of the country, want to do when he sees me? Gaara said. The 2 people said that the daimyo wanted to win over Phoenix Village and move Phoenix Village to the Kingdom of Wind to replace Sand Shinobi Village. They also said that the annual funding is 1 billion taels. TCH. Mizuki sneered and said, it's only 1 billion taels, and you're sending them to beggars. Tell them to go away, I'm not interested in seeing them. At the same time, at the east gate of Fenghuang Village, some villagers left the village one after another, some to cut firewood, some to collect herbs, and some to travel far away. But their paths are all the same. Soon, they saw the team of the daimyo from the Kingdom of Wind. Logically speaking, most people would stay away from so many warriors, but instead of avoiding them, these villagers even approached them. When they got close, they immediately started running, shouting, kill. The daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind heard the sound and asked in surprise, what happened? Lord Daimyo, someone is attacking us. The daimyo immediately opened the curtain to look and found that they were just a few ordinary people. HMPH, these untouchables dare to disrespect me, kill them. Immediately, a minister said, no, Lord Daimyo, this is the country of birds. These people are probably the villagers of Phoenix Village. If you kill them, you will be in trouble. When the daimyo heard this, he immediately woke up and shouted to the samurai who had drawn their swords, don't kill, don't kill. But if he didn't kill him, the villagers rushed forward to die. They took the initiative to bump into the samurai's sword, letting the blade pierce their bodies, and then died of bleeding. Some samurai hurriedly sheathed their swords to avoid bloodshed, but these villagers rushed directly to the daimyo sedan, shouting to kill as they rushed. Guard me. The daimyo was so frightened that he put down the curtain and no longer cared that this was the country of birds. His own safety was important, and he shouted loudly, they want to kill me, kill them for me. As a result, these villagers were quickly killed by the samurai. The daimyo opened the curtain again, looked at the corpse on the ground, and cursed. These untouchables dare to attack me, they deserve to die. A minister said sadly, Lord Daimyo, we killed the villagers of Fenghuang, how can we cooperate with Fenghuang village? The daimyo didn't take it seriously and said, they want to kill me, can't I kill them? Kill him or her. At the worst, I'll pay more. As long as I give enough money, their family will forgive me, and the villagers of Phoenix will also forgive me. As for Mizuki's attitude, they are just a few pariahs. Compared with the 10 taels of funds per year, do you need to say how he chooses? Who can have trouble with money? The news that the villagers here were killed quickly spread back to the village. When Mizuki heard the news, his breakfast suddenly didn't taste good. You are so brave. When you come to my territory, are all the people who kill me so arrogant? He was filled with murderous intent. Tsunade immediately said, you can't mess around. He is a daimyo. We can't do anything to him, otherwise we will be in big trouble. And this matter is by no means as simple as it seems. Those villagers rushed forward deliberately to die. Mizuki sneered. So what about the daimyo? No matter what conspiracy there is, they are still villagers in Fenghuang village, so they must be protected by us. Now they are killed at the gate of the village, leaving us unable to protect them. Those who kill will die, even if they are daimyo, there will be no exception. Let the Kingdom of Wind choose a new name. Chapter 297. I have made up my mind. Mizuki, you can't do that, that's a daimyo. If he dies, the Kingdom of Wind will be in chaos, and man-made disasters will continue, and countless citizens of the Kingdom of Wind will mourn. Tsunade looked at Mizuki, worried. She didn't want to see Mizuki become unscrupulous and devoid of awe. Because those who have no scruples will end up with no good results, such as Madara. I don't even want to see the people of the wind become miserable because of Mizuki. Although Tsunade appears to be a hardliner like Haki, she actually loves peace and doesn't like killing. A person who can practice medical ninjutsu to the pinnacle of the ninja world, his true character can be seen as Madara. If you didn't have the heart to save the world for the people, how could you work so hard in medical ninjutsu? Tsunade's character is inherited from Hashirama. With Hashirama's original strength, if he teamed up with Madara, he would definitely be able to unify the ninja world. But Hashirama didn't do that. All Hashirama wants is to end the war and protect peace. After the creation of Konoha village, the Land of Fire became peaceful, and all major ninja families in the Land of Fire also joined Konoha, and everyone was harmonious. The 5 Kages from the 5 great ninja villages also sat together and talked, like close friends. There are no disputes between countries and villages, and everything is so beautiful. Hashirama felt that his goal was achieved, so he lost his mind to go further. He guarded Konoha and thought he had peace. He is also willing to share a peaceful and prosperous age with the daimyo of the Land of Fire. The daimyo manages ordinary people and the shadows control ninjas. Tsunade is Hashirama's granddaughter. She grew up listening to her grandfather's stories, and was naturally deeply influenced by her grandfather's philosophy of managing the village. A daimyo is the most important person in a country and is the cornerstone of stabilizing the country's situation. If a daimyo dies unexpectedly, the country will fall into turmoil, and the people at the bottom will suffer the most. Tsunade looked at Mizuki and said, you want to unify the ninja world to resist the attack of the Otsutsuki clan, but if you use this method, what you will get in the end will be a world full of holes and broken. By then, the overall strength of the ninja world will not only not increase, but will also decrease significantly. It will be even more difficult to resist Otsutsuki. Tsunade argued hard and even talked about unifying the ninja world. Mizuki said, but he killed our villagers. If we don't kill him to avenge the villagers, who will dare to join Phoenix village in the future? If word spreads, others will think I'm afraid of him. It doesn't matter that he is a famous person. If he is left alone because of this, then Phoenix village can be disbanded. He is not the Holy Mother. The people of the Wind Country have nothing to do with their lives, so what does it matter to him? His Phoenix village was built in the Kingdom of Birds, not the Kingdom of Wind. And unifying the ninja world is just a boring plan for him. Do you really think that he unified the ninja world to resist the Otsutsuki clan? Tsunade. But those villagers obviously rushed to die on their own. Someone deliberately provoked you to kill the daimyo of the Land of Wind. Can't you see it? Mizuki. I can see that. Tsunade said angrily. If that's the case, why did you still fall for it? Are you so willing to be used as a weapon? Mizuki smiled lightly and said, the feeling of being used as a gunman certainly makes me unhappy, but this is secondary. Let the whole ninja world see that I, Mizuki, am determined to protect the villagers. The most important thing is, I want everyone to know that it is absolutely safe to join my Mizuki's camp. Advertisement. Tsunade was silent. In her heart, she labeled Mizuki, careerist. And he is an unscrupulous careerist. She used to think that Mizuki's talk about unifying the ninja world was just a joke. But today, she saw Mizuki's determination. Not kidding. As Mizuki said, if it was really for a few villagers, he would kill the daimyo of the country of wind. Then once this matter spreads, everyone in the ninja world will know that Phoenix village is absolutely safe. As long as you join Mizuki's camp, you won't have to worry about any murder or oppression. Because only Mizuki dares to kill daimyo for the common people. Is it necessary to kill him? Tsunade asked finally. Mizuki. I've made up my mind. Besides, I won't let go of the person behind the scenes. If he dares to put his idea on my head, he must be prepared to die. Tsunade is helpless. Mizuki took the main members of the village and left the village, heading west. Minato, Kushina, Zabuza, Hazashi, Neji, Hinata, etc. are all here. Tsunade didn't follow, she went to the casino to gamble. Soon, the group arrived at where the daimyo team from the Kingdom of Wind was. 100 meters away, the bodies of villagers were still lying on the ground. The daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind felt it was dirty and moved from there to here. As for the corpses of the villagers, he did not order his men to collect them. He thought that his warriors were noble, how could they collect the corpses of these untouchables? When Mizuki and his entourage arrived, a samurai immediately stepped forward and shouted, "Who is here?" The daimyo of the Land of Wind is driving his car again, and no idlers are allowed to approach. With a look from Mizuki, the samurai turned into blood mist and disappeared. Although the soul injury is still very serious, you shouldn't do it if you can. But Mizuki is very angry today, so she wants to vent. Just then this samurai bumped into him. Using chakra to kill people made Mizuki's head hurt slightly, but he didn't care. Seeing their companions being instantly killed into blood mist with a single glance, the entourage from the Kingdom of Wind exclaimed, their eyes immediately filled with horror. Inside the sedan, the daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind asked, what happened? Kaido, a minister next to him. Daimyo-sama, the ninjas from Phoenix Village are here. A samurai came forward to ask and was killed. The daimyo frowned and scolded in a low voice. A samurai died, what are you afraid of? The other party is just venting his anger and avenging the dead untouchables. You are my minister of the Kingdom of Wind. How dare the other party do anything to you? Okay, let's ask him about his identity. An ordinary ninja is not worthy of me getting out of his sedan chair to meet him, unless Mizuki comes in person. The minister plucked up the courage and asked loudly, who is your excellency? The name of the Kingdom of Wind is here, and I would like to invite Mizuki, the first generation of Phoenix Village, to come and see you. Advertisement. Mizuki said calmly, I am Mizuki. The next moment, he raised his hand and the chakra moved slightly. The sedan exploded instantly, and before the daimyo of the Land of Wind could react, he was grabbed by a force and flew towards Mizuki. He exclaimed in the air, shouting, escort, escort. But none of the warriors could move. At this moment, they were weighed down like a huge boulder, making it difficult for them to move forward. They could only watch the daimyo fly in front of Mizuki. Master Feng, I have something to say. The daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind was suspended in front of Mizuki, half a meter away from Mizuki. He felt the shadow of death, and huge fear occupied his heart. The murderous aura emanating from Mizuki's body made him feel as if he had fallen into an ice cellar and trembled all over. Mizuki's eyes were indifferent, looking at the daimyo of the Land of Wind as if he were looking at a dead person. I have nothing to say to you. You killed 6 villagers in my Phoenix village. Now, I sentence you to death. Go to the Pure Land and repent slowly. Mizuki stretched out his right hand and pointed his index finger at the throat of the daimyo of the Land of Wind. At the tip of the index finger, chakra condenses into a blue knife, shining with cold light. The daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind panicked and immediately begged for mercy. I was wrong, I was wrong. I am willing to apologize and pay compensation. I will compensate each of them 1 million taels. Mizuki's movements didn't slow down at all. 10 million taels for each person. Mizuki was unmoved. The daimyo of the Kingdom of Wind was desperate. Seeing that begging for mercy was in vain, he sternly shouted, Mizuki, I am the daimyo. I am a descendant of God and the spokesperson of God. If you dare to kill me, you will be punished by God. Let me go immediately, otherwise you will regret it. Mizuki sneered, and the next moment, the chakra knife pierced the daimyo's neck. The other accompanying members of the Kingdom of Wind all stared at the scene in front of them with their eyes widened in disbelief. The daimyo is dead. The daimyo was killed by Mizuki. In the history of the 5 great nations, are there any famous names killed by ninjas? Have it. Thunder exploded in their hearts. The ninja world is about to change. Mizuki waved his hand casually, and the body of the daimyo of the Land of Wind flew back to the center of the group of warriors, hitting the ground and throwing up dust. Take his body and go back to the Kingdom of Wind. Remember, any villager who dares to kill me in Phoenix Village, even a daimyo, will die. The word, death, rang in everyone's ears. Behind Mizuki, Minato Kushina Hazashi and others watched this scene quietly, with different expressions and different thoughts. In the sky, above the clouds, Sage of 6 Paths looked down and couldn't help but sigh. He's really starting to cause trouble in the ninja world. My decision is indeed the right one. Chapter 298. Do you know why your grandfather was willing? The daimyo of the Land of Wind is dead, killed by Mizuki. This shocking news spread throughout the ninja world in just a few days. The great names of the small country were trembling. And the great names of the 4 great kingdoms, the Kingdom of Fire, the Kingdom of Water, the Kingdom of Earth, and the Kingdom of Thunder, were all furious. In the Kingdom of Fire, in the daimyo's mansion, the daimyo tore the fan in his hand into pieces and shouted loudly, notify Konoha village immediately and send all ninjas to attack Phoenix village in the Kingdom of Birds. That Mizuki must die. The daimyo of the Kingdom of Thunder went to Cloud Shinobi village to meet 4th Raikage in person. He slapped the table and roared, I don't care. If Mizuki doesn't die for 1 day, the delivery of next year's military expenditure will be delayed by 1 day. If Mizuki never dies, then Cloud Shinobi village will just have to fend for itself. The daimyo of the Land of Earth and the daimyo of the Land of Water all acted in unison and ordered Rock Shinobi village and Mist Ninja village to send troops to the Kingdom of Birds. Not only that, the daimyo of the 4 countries not only ordered the ninja villages in their own countries to send troops, but also put pressure on other small countries. Anyone with a ninja village must send out all the ninjas in the village to attack Phoenix Village. Taki Ninja Village, Yu Ninja Village, Star Ninja Village, Senin Village, Snow Ninja Village, Rain Shinobi Village, Grass Ninja Village, Sora Ninja Village, Takumi Ninja Village. In addition to the Ninja Village, there are also various ninja organizations that do not belong to the Ninja Village, such as Xuanyuan Clan, Prajna Clan, 3 Evil Ninjas, Underground Money Exchange, Wandering Ninja, Unbearable. There are also various ninja families that are not part of the Ninja Village, as well as temples with ninjas such as the Fire Temple, all of which have been notified. All in all, the Shikoku daimyos were very determined to kill Mizuki at all costs. They thought that all the ninjas in the entire ninja world would support the mobilization of the 4 of them. But the result is that after the notification was sent out for several days, there was very little movement. In addition to the ninja villages in small countries making preparations, among the 4 major ninja villages, only Cloud Shinobi Village is mobilizing troops. Konoha Village, Rock Shinobi Village and Mist Ninja Village showed no response, as if they had turned a deaf ear to the daimyo's words. Bang! The table was shaken by the slap, and the Fire Country daimyo's palms hurt sharply. His face flushed, and he roared angrily, "What on earth are you doing? Why don't you send troops?" In front, Nara Shikaku and 2 advisors lowered their heads and said with a smile, "Lord Daimyo, please think twice about sending troops to the Kingdom of Birds." The daimyo shouted, "How outrageous! Don't you even listen to my orders? I asked you to send troops, but you made me think twice. Do you Konoha no longer want to continue?" Advertisement. Shikaku smiled bitterly and said, "Lord Daimyo, you don't know. Mizuki's strength in Phoenix Village is too strong. If we send troops, we will die in vain. It's better to think long-term and come up with a sound strategy." The daimyo's eyes widened and he stared at Shikaku, wishing that someone would drag him out and chop him down. Strong. No matter how strong he is, isn't he still a human being? No matter how strong he is, can he withstand the coalition of all the ninjas in the ninja world? Mitokado Homura. What the daimyo-sama said is true. No matter how strong one person is, he cannot withstand the attacks of all ninjas in the ninja world. However, even if we can kill him, we will suffer heavy losses. A conservative estimate is that the number of casualties will reach more than half. Such losses are too tragic for the ninja world. Bang! The daimyo slammed the table again, but this time he changed his hand. So what if more than half of them are dead or injured? If Mizuki is left alive, more people will die in the ninja world. In short, I want to see Konoha send troops today. If not, the Fire Nation will immediately stop its economic support for Konoha. I will also order that no caravans are allowed to come to Konoha, and Konoha villagers are prohibited from going to any villages and towns in the Land of Fire to buy supplies. I will send people to destroy the fertile farmland within 100 miles of Konoha so that no food crops can be produced, leaving you with no food to eat. I will also fill in all the rivers around Konoha village so that you can't even drink water. I will also burn down all the forests around Konoha. You won't even be able to eat the wild fruits. At this moment, there was a soft shout outside the door. Enough. The daimyo did not continue speaking. He had a stern expression on his face and shouted, "Whoever dares to interrupt me, Shikaku, I order you to execute him immediately. If you dare to be disrespectful to my name, only death can atone for your sin." Shikaku raised his eyes and looked at the daimyo, and said, "Lord Daimyo, the person here is Lord Hashirama." The daimyo was startled and said, "Hashirama? Which Hashirama?" Shikaku. First Hokage, Senju Hashirama. Gudong. The daimyo swallowed subconsciously, the expression on his face was very exciting. Didn't I ask Orochimaru to send the first Hokage back to the Pure Land a few days ago? Why are you still here? Shikaku thought. Orochimaru is gone a long time ago. You only gave in a few days ago. It was already too late. The door to the conference room opened automatically, and first Hokage walked in with a frosty face, staring at the daimyo with his black eyes. What you said just now, you can say it again if you can. Advertisement. The daimyo trembled in his heart, being frightened by first generation's momentum. But then he thought, he is a daimyo, what should he be afraid of? What's wrong with first Hokage? As long as you are a Kage, you have to listen to my name. He looked up at Hashirama and said in a strong tone, what I just said was not a joke. If Konoha does not send troops, I will keep my word. Oh, do you mean what you say? Hashirama's tone became deeper. Chakra instantly spilled out of his body and wrapped around him. The powerful momentum caused the floor under his feet to explode instantly. Everyone present broke out in cold sweat, and the daimyo almost peed with fear. The daimyo's lips trembled and he asked, why? His grandfather was still there at that time. The great name of the Kingdom of Wind is dead. If another great name of the Kingdom of Fire dies, it should be easier for everyone to accept it. Take back what you just said, otherwise, I don't mind if the Fire Country changes its name. You, what do you want to do? I am a daimyo, do you want to do something to me? The daimyo sat in his chair, his body stiff. But now, when he looked at the powerful and domineering Senju Hashirama in front of him, he suddenly seemed to understand something. Madara couldn't do it back then, and neither can you. Once when he woke up in the middle of the night, he heard his grandfather talking in his sleep. Senju Hashirama, I will kill you sooner or later. I will definitely repay you for the humiliation I caused you. And the Senju clan, I will make you extinct. My grandfather promised to provide Konoha with 2 billion taels of financial support every year, and demanded that future generations of daimyo cannot be reduced. It turned out that he was forced to do so. Grandfather was particularly fond of his eldest grandson, and he often slept with him. Do you know why your grandfather is willing to spend 2 billion taels per year to support the development of Konoha village? Hashirama stared at the daimyo and said calmly, I founded Konoha, and I will never allow anyone to hurt him. Hashirama stared at the daimyo and sneered, Daimyo. What is a daimyo? He walked towards the daimyo, and finally stood in front of the daimyo. The samurai next to him didn't dare to stop him. He was still very young at that time and did not understand the reason. When he asked this question, a memory from his childhood suddenly emerged in the daimyo's mind. Hashirama stood, looked down at the daimyo, and said, Do you know why your grandfather agreed to cooperate with Konoha to establish a one-country one-village system? Chapter 299. The Black Hand Reaching Out to Naruto. The Fire Nation daimyo left Konoha village dejectedly. He even promised to give Konoha an additional 500 million taels of financial support every year because of his fear. After leaving Konoha, he cursed in anger, but when he thought of Senju Hashirama's haki posture, he couldn't help but tremble in his heart. I didn't dare to go back on the extra 500 million taels I promised. Damn it, I must avenge this. He swore secretly in his heart. Suddenly, the sedan stopped. The daimyo shouted angrily, What happened? Lord Daimyo, there is someone blocking the road ahead. The daimyo narrowed his eyes and opened the sedan curtain, only to see a person standing in the middle of the road in front of him, his body shrouded in robes, and his appearance could not be seen. Who dares to block a famous car driver and seek death? Under the robe, a young voice sounded. The daimyo will atone for his sins. I come here because I want to cooperate with the daimyo. The daimyo sneered. How can a person who hides his head but only shows his tail have the qualifications to cooperate with me? The man lifted his hat and said with a smile, I am the leader of the Senin village, Kabuto Senin. None other than Yakushi Kabuto. I have some information about Mizuki. If this news spreads, I believe those hesitant ninja villages will immediately put aside their worries and send troops to attack the country of birds. The Fire Country daimyo immediately asked, What's the news? Yakushi Kabuto replied, Mizuki was seriously injured and his fighting ability was greatly reduced. He cannot use ninjutsu at will, otherwise his whole body will be in severe pain. Uzumaki Naruto was also seriously injured and is still unconscious. I wonder if the daimyo-sama will like these two pieces of news. The great name of the Fire Country remained calm on the outside, but deep down he was already happy. I like it, I really like it. Why don't the various ninja villages dare to send ninjas to the kingdom of birds? Isn't it because they are afraid of the strength of Mizuki and Naruto? Now that Mizuki and Naruto are both seriously injured, what are they afraid of? Is the news true? Asked the Fire Country daimyo. Yakushi Kabuto. I paid for this news with my life, and it is absolutely true. If you don't believe it, the daimyo can send someone to Phoenix Village to test it, and you will know after one test. Daimyo. Okay, if the news is true, I will definitely reward you heavily. Whatever you want, you can just say it now. Yakushi Kabuto smiled and shook his head. I don't lack anything, I just see that Mizuki is unhappy. He is a man of few words, so he can only tell the news to the daimyo, and with the help of the daimyo status, the news spread throughout the ninja world. Now that it's been conveyed, I'll say goodbye. After Yakushi Kabuto left, the daimyo couldn't wait to give the order. As quickly as possible, spread the news that Mizuki and Uzumaki Naruto are seriously injured and dying to every corner of the ninja world. Advertisement. I just heard the news from Yakushi Kabuto, not confirmed yet. But the Fire Country daimyo felt that there was no need to confirm, and the sooner the news was spread, the better. It would take time to send someone to the bird country to confirm. What if Mizuki's injury recovers during the time it takes to confirm the news? So, faster is better. On the other side, Yakushi Kabuto enters Raichi Cave and meets White Snake Sennin. Yakushi Kabuto, are you ready to see me? White Snake Sage asked. Yakushi Kabuto replied. Yes, with the help of Tienshin Shenji, I have visited the cemeteries of all the major ninja villages, including the small ninja villages and some ninja families living in seclusion in the mountains. It is estimated that there will be more than 20,000 ninjas who can come out of impure world reincarnation, but the identities of many of the dead cannot be confirmed. Maybe some. White Snake Sage frowned. Only 20,000. Not enough, far from enough. Although there were not many ninjas in the Sengoku era, since the creation of Ninja Village, the number of ninjas has begun to increase, and the number of ninjas who died in the past 60 years alone has the number of ninjas exceeds 100,000, so you have to continue collecting. After the soul enters the Pure Land, the power of the soul begins to dissipate automatically. It will take up to 70 or 80 years before the soul power is exhausted and completely disappear between heaven and earth. Therefore, there is no need for impure world reincarnation for the more distant dead. The reason why White Snake Sennin asked Yakushi Kabuto to reincarnate the dead ninja into the impure world was because he wanted to create a stumbling block for Sage of Six Paths. As long as the souls of the deceased are not in the Pure Land, Sage of Six Paths will not be able to absorb the power of their souls for cultivation. What White Snake Immortal did was harmful to others and not beneficial to oneself. But that's how he wanted to get revenge on Sage of Six Paths. The last time Sage of Six Paths plotted against him, he couldn't swallow this breath. But since you are here, let's first summon more than 20,000 people from the Pure Land to the mortal world. Yakushi Kabuto said. Reanimation jutsu requires living people as sacrifices. Summoning more than 20,000 ninjas requires more than 20,000 living people. With so many sacrifices, the Shion ninja village cannot collect them in a short time. If it is too blatant, it will attract the attention of the major ninja villages. Immortal White Snake said calmly. It's just living people, they are everywhere. He immediately summoned Ichiki Shimaheim and told him, Shimaheim, send a large number of people to some remote small countries to capture a large number of living people. Try to make as little noise as possible so as not to attract the attention of the major ninja villages. Ikikijima stuck out her tongue and licked the air, and asked excitedly, the ancestors reminded me that the annual breeding season is coming. Many people like to enjoy human bodies, and there is indeed a need for a large number of living people, especially young and handsome people. Human beings are more able to arouse desire. Immortal White Snake blew out a smoke ring and said, this is not the purpose of saving people this time. Ikikishimahime became even more excited and asked, could it be that we are having a food party again? Yakushi Kabuto on the side kept smiling, but his understanding of Raichi cave deepened in his heart. But he just listened and said nothing. White Snake Immortal. The living people this time are used as sacrifices for the impure world reincarnation. Advertisement. The amount needed is also larger than before. You go grab 20,000 yuan first, use it urgently, and try to get it together within 3 days. You will need more later, so be careful. Ikikishimahime said disappointedly. It turns out to be impure world reincarnation, what a pity. But ancestors, it doesn't matter if I enjoy a few while I catch them, right? Immortal White Snake glanced at her and said, don't be wordy, go quickly, I'm in a hurry. Ikikishimahime chuckled and glanced at Yakushi Kabuto with a teasing look in her eyes. Yakushi Kabuto treated her like air, she said, cut, and found it boring, turned around and left. Phoenix Village. Naruto hadn't woken up yet, lying on the bed in the bedroom, breathing steadily. The self-destruction of the God of Light's soul was too powerful, and Naruto's soul was too severely injured. Although he took medicine, he had not yet recovered enough to wake up. Beside the bed, Hinata was kneeling on the floor, holding a bowl with broth in her hands. At this time, Kushina's voice sounded outside, little Hinata, come to eat. On the floor, a head suddenly appeared. Half of the face was white and the other half was black. It was Zetsu. Hinata glanced at Naruto again, turned and walked towards the door, whispering as she walked, I'm not young. As she said that, her cheeks were slightly red, she lowered her head and glanced at Naruto, and found that Naruto was still awake. She breathed a sigh of relief, but the shyness in her eyes remained. She walked to the door with the bowl in one hand, turned around and glanced at Naruto on the bed again, and gently pulled the door shut with the other hand. Sure enough, I still have to rely on myself. Zetsu looked at Naruto sleeping on the bed, his face full of joy. I'm also worried about you. At the dinner table, Minato, Kushina, and Hinata were eating at the same table. Naruto-kun, wake up quickly, Aunt Kushina and Uncle Minato are worried about you. By controlling Naruto's body, we can directly resurrect Madara and carry out the final plan. Obito and Nagato are both rubbish and unreliable. After half a bowl of broth, she drank it all in a short while. She wiped the corners of Naruto's mouth with a handkerchief before standing up from the ground and rubbing her slightly sore knees. While speaking, his black hand reached towards Naruto on the bed. Her movements are very gentle and skillful. Naruto was the only one left in the room. She carefully scooped up the soup with a spoon and fed it into Naruto's mouth. What a once-in-a-century opportunity. Chapter 300. Lend you my right eye. Minato, who was eating, suddenly sensed a strange smell in the room. With a whoosh, he disappeared and appeared at Naruto's bedside. At this time, Black Zetsu's hand had touched Naruto's body. Blackness flowed from White Zetsu's body like ink and poured onto Naruto's body. Stop! Minato shouted, and the Rasengan formed instantly and hit White Zetsu in the stomach. White Zetsu's body was directly smashed away by Rasengan's powerful force, but Black Zetsu had detached and attached to Naruto's body. The right half of Naruto's body turned completely black. The right eye also opened immediately. I finally got it. This feeling is really wonderful. This body is really suitable for me. Zetsu took control of Naruto's body and sat up from the bed. Minato looked at Zetsu, not daring to make a move for fear of hurting Naruto. Suddenly the door exploded and several thick chains rushed in, instantly binding Naruto's body. Kushina, with her red hair flowing, strode in, her eyes staring at Black Zetsu, as if she wanted to breathe fire. What a red pepper. Get out of my son's body or I will seal you away. Black Zetsu smiled and said, the sealing technique of the Uzumaki clan cannot seal me. I will borrow Naruto's body temporarily, bye. As soon as he finished speaking, his body entered the hollow state, passed through the chains, and dived underground. Although he had just possessed Naruto, he was already able to use Naruto's body to perform some of Naruto's methods. No, Kushina watched her son being taken away and shouted anxiously. The chains behind her burrowed into the ground like a giant dragon. Amidst the loud rumblings, the ground shook violently, and the chains drilled wildly into the ground, hoping to overturn the ground beneath their feet. The entire Phoenix village felt the movement here. Mizuki was drinking tea and soaking up the sun on his roof terrace, taking a moment to calm down and feel the natural energy around him. Suddenly noticing something unusual about Naruto's family, he frowned. What happened? He immediately went to Naruto's house, and before he even entered the door, he heard Kushina's anxious cry. Minato, what should I do, Naruto? Mizuki's expression changed drastically. Advertisement. Naruto is gone. The injury to the soul has worsened, and the soul is gone. He rushed into the house and asked loudly, how is Naruto doing? Minato is also anxious, but as a man, you need to be strong at this time. If he also breaks down, what will Kushina do? Seeing Mizuki come in, Minato said hurriedly, Naruto was taken away by a strange black thing. Mizuki was relieved to hear that Naruto was just being taken away instead of being knocked out of his mind. Not too bad, but he frowned and asked doubtfully, a strange black thing. He really couldn't figure out what the strange black thing was. But then, he saw the white zetsu embedded in the wall. As that black thing peeled off from this guy, Minato said happily, Mizuki, how did you know? Do you know that thing? Great, since you know it, then Naruto can be saved. Mizuki said solemnly, I do know what it is. Mizuki never expected that Black Zetsu would sneak into the village secretly and come after Naruto. Phoenix Village has set up a super large perception barrier. When a strange life breath enters the perception range of the barrier will immediately give an early warning. But when Black Zetsu sneaked in, the sensory barrier showed no response. Also, the time before, when Tien Shinji and Yakushi Kabuto infiltrated, there was no movement in the sensory barrier. This broken barrier is just like a fake, it is completely a decoration. The things returned by the system are so rubbish, it's really a waste. He complained crazily in his heart. The system said that it would not take responsibility for this. Host, it's obvious that you didn't fully utilize the function of the barrier, do you blame me? Close black lens bracket. Mizuki immediately became angry and cursed in his mind, what's the use? A truly excellent barrier should be a full type one-click operation. Why are you returning something so complicated? I want to return it. System. No returns or exchanges. Close black lens bracket. Seeing such an anxious moment, Mizuki was distracted, and Minato was speechless for a while. Mizuki came to his senses and said, don't worry, Naruto is fine. Black Zetsu will not take away Naruto for no reason. Its purpose is nothing more than to possess Naruto and use Naruto's ability to do something. Mizuki speculated that Black Zetsu probably wanted to use Naruto's Rinnegan to resurrect Uchiha Madara. Of course, this is just speculation. Mizuki would never put Naruto's life and safety on speculation. Naruto also has your Flying Thunder God mark on him, right? Mizuki asked. Minato nodded. Advertisement. Both Naruto and Kushina were given the Flying Thunder God mark by Minato to make it easier to find them. The opponent is possessed by Naruto and can use Naruto's jutsu. Even if I find him, I can't do anything to him as long as he enters the Kamui Hollow state. And you also know that Naruto is stronger than me. Even if I go, I may not be my opponent. Minato was helpless. Mizuki said. Don't worry, after that person controls Naruto, he cannot use all Naruto's techniques. He can only use the body's built-in pupil techniques such as Bloodline Limit. He cannot use some techniques that are learned later, such as the Flying Thunder God technique, and the multiple Shadow Clone and Rasengan. He does not know the principle and cannot use it. The Heavenly Resentment U technique is also unusable. So, after controlling Naruto, all he can use is the Rinnegan's own eye technique. Mizuki thought for a moment and said, I am seriously injured and I have a splitting headache every time I use ninjutsu, so I still have to rely on you as my father to save Naruto. He was also helpless. Soul injuries recover slowly. In Neji's last chance to return, he also gave him a tranquilizing potion. The system returned another tranquilizing pill, but unfortunately the return multiple was not high. After taking this second Requiem pill, the soul's recovery speed increased, but it was still not ideal. Several disciples have used up all their return opportunities this month. In this case, let me lend you my right eye for use first. If you want to get a more efficient Requiem pill, you can only wait until next month. He didn't understand why Mizuki cared so much about Naruto. The Kamui in the right eye is still very useful. There are still about 10 days until next month. With Naruto here, it's just a right eye, nothing at all. If you give him another right eye, sooner or later he will be able to return a stronger one. Lend me your right eye. So this eye can only be lent to Minato, not given to Minato. Even if this eye is completely lost, it doesn't matter if Naruto can be saved. Minato wanted to say something, but Mizuki interrupted with a wave of his hand. I know what you want to say. What you're worried about is nothing more than Kamui. Even if you can defeat him, as long as he enters the hollow state, there's nothing you can do against him. Minato nodded blankly. But now, he cannot display his abilities at all. Mizuki nodded and said, Naruto's safety is the most important, so no need to say anything more, it will be transplanted in a moment. If Naruto hadn't had the same hair and eyes as him, he would have wondered if he had given birth to the baby. When it came to lending to Minato, Mizuki had a mental struggle. After much thought, Naruto's safety was the most important thing. With this eye, you can also freely enter the Kamui space, so you don't have to worry about the other party's hollow. You take him back to the village and I will find a way to separate him from Naruto. Chapter 301. Snake Trouble. On the sea, dozens of large and small ships formed a semicircle, riding the wind and waves. This is the pirates' ship, and they are committing a robbery. On the middle and largest pirate ship, there stood a young man wearing a straw hat. The young man was wearing the Mist Ninja Village forehead protector, which was just a rebel ninja forehead protector with a scratch. This pirate group is the Straw Hat Pirates who once had a relationship with Mizuki. The young man wearing a straw hat is the leader of the pirate group, Safang. Luoya looked into the distance. There was a super large luxury wooden ship a few sea miles away, and a banquet was being held on it. Even though it was several sea miles away, Luoya could vaguely hear the music on the ship. I met a big fish this time. Those who can afford to ride on this kind of boat are either nobles or rich people, and the cash they carry with them starts at least 100,000 taels. He shouted loudly. Brothers, come on. The pirates were all excited and cheered loudly. Oh, you evil rich people, rob them all. I want a woman, I want a woman, I want to rush. The pirate ship put down its oars, and all the pirates paddled together, speeding up and surrounding the luxurious wooden ship. The people on the big ship had discovered the Straw Hat Pirates, and they responded immediately, turning around and speeding up to escape. However, the pirate boats are small in size, and with the help of paddle boards, they are faster in such windless conditions. It's only a matter of time before we catch up. Luoya didn't feel much excitement in his heart. He had seen this kind of scene so many times that he was already used to it. But when he looked at his men, all working together to pull off the robbery, he was relieved. As a ninja, but as a pirate, you will be ridiculed if this news spreads. But he doesn't care, he just enjoys the feeling of being the boss and being worshipped and obeyed by his subordinates. He has felt since he was a child that he should be a born leader, suitable for giving orders and then being respected by others. Unfortunately, his ideals could not be realized in Mist Ninja Village, but he was unwilling to live an ordinary life, so he chose to defect. Behind him, familiar footsteps sounded. Laoya immediately turned around, with a doting smile on his expressionless face. Why did you come out? It's windy on the deck, go in and have a rest. Luoya walked over quickly and helped Chun. Chun's belly is getting bigger and bigger, and it looks like the baby will be born in less than 2 months. I am a ninja after all, and my physical fitness is stronger than that of ordinary people. A little sea breeze can't do anything to me. I don't want to be bored in the house all day long. Liaoya said. I know you are powerful, but I'm afraid there will be a big fish ahead and it will be noisy for a while. I'm afraid it will disturb you. Chun said. It's okay, I'll stand for a while. Laoya looked at Chun's belly and asked, how are you, little one? Did you kick you today? Chun smiled and said. Kicked, very energetic. Laoya was silent for a moment and said, when the child is born, I will provide you with a grand wedding. By then, pirates from all over the sea will be invited to witness our union. Sooner or later, I will become the king of pirates, and then you will be the queen, the most noble woman on the sea. Our children will also become the inheritors of the sea. Advertisement. Tsubaki smiled and nodded. Okay, go in quickly, the battle is about to begin. The pirate group's ships were already approaching the luxurious ship, and they could even hear the frightened shouts from the opposite ship. The pirates all took out their weapons and were ready to board the ship. Chun said. Don't kill anyone. Then he turned around and went back to the house. At this moment, a cold breath suddenly came from below, and the sea breeze carried a cold and fishy smell. Ryuga and Chun were both ninjas, and their expressions changed when they felt this unusual aura. Laoya's secret passage is not good, and there may be experts on the other side's ship. Today, I'm afraid I need to get serious. What he didn't notice was that a huge shadow was approaching quickly in the water below his feet. The next moment, a giant snake raised its head from the sea. Just the snake's head was bigger than the boat. The sudden change made everyone look pale with fright. The pirates have forgotten what they came for. What is this? What a big snake. Am I dreaming? Sea monster. This is a sea monster. It's over, we're all done. Whether it was the pirates or the nobles and rich people on the luxurious wooden boats, they were all desperate. They screamed and spread fear wantonly. Luoyang and Chun looked at such a huge snake, and their minds went blank. Such a giant snake would be difficult for even Jonin to deal with. How could something like this appear here? The giant snake's cold eyes were emotionless. It moved, and a snake's tail rolled under the sea surface, instantly entangling the luxurious wooden boat. Several pirate ships were also entangled in the snake's body. Immediately after the bang sound, the giant snake turned into white smoke and disappeared, and the boats and people on it that were entangled in it also disappeared. The remaining pirates thought they were safe, but as the waves surged, 3 more giant snakes emerged from the bottom of the sea. They have the same purpose, entangling the pirate ships one by one and taking away all the remaining people. The pirate main ship where Luya was on was also tightly entangled by a big snake, and the pirates on board jumped into the sea one after another. But how could the big snake let them go? The snake's head lowered, its mouth opened, and the sea water poured in. The pirates were all swallowed by the big snake. At the critical moment, Luya gritted his teeth and refused to accept his fate. If the boat is gone, you can buy and rebuild it, and if your subordinates are gone, you can recruit new ones, but you can't lose yourself, let alone your wife and children. We must not let anything happen to her and the child. He came to Chun as quickly as possible, picked her up, and instantly landed on the sea, breaking away from the snake's entanglement. The big snake looked over with cold eyes, and Suya hugged Chun and ran quickly on the sea, quickly running hundreds of meters. At this time, the big snakes dealt with all the pirates, and 3 of the big snakes took the people away. The remaining one did not leave, but chased after Niuya and Chun. It swims very fast in the water. With a calm expression on his face, Liaoya looked back twice and concluded that with his own speed, he would never be able to outrun this snake. If you just run away, you will never be able to escape in the end. Chun, stay with me and don't go far. I will protect you and the child. Advertisement. We'll be fine. While speaking, he quickly formed seals with his hands. Water style. Mist shinobi technique. Heavy fog surged from the sea, and soon I could not see my fingers. When I used water style ninjutsu on the sea, the effect was several times better than on land. Chun reminded. Suya, snakes don't rely entirely on their eyes to sense other creatures. The heavy fog can't stop them. Liaoya nodded and said, don't worry, I know. He formed seals again and created several water avatars. These water avatars were spread out in groups of 2. Liaoya hugged Chun and quickly moved away. With heavy fog blocking the view and smell, and the water itself interfering with the judgment of these snakes, our success rate of escape will be greatly increased. Sure enough, as he said, the snake chased the wrong target and chased the 2 water clones. Suya hugged Chun and ran away quickly in the opposite direction of the big snake. Soon they ran out of the area covered by mist shinobi technique, and the fog began to dissipate. Looking back, I saw the big snake still chasing the water body. The distance between the 2 sides had grown far, and Liaoya breathed a sigh of relief. This distance should be safe. Tsubaki also breathed a sigh of relief. Although he has died once, who wants to die if he can live? The world of the living is much more exciting than the world of the dead. At this moment, a chuckle suddenly sounded above his head. Haha, is it really safe? Liao Ya's complexion changed greatly and he shouted. Who? Both he and Chun looked up and saw a lowly girl wearing a long gown floating in the air with long blue hair, looking down at the 2 of them with a face full of teasing. Can fly, you, who are you? Liao Ya asked in surprise. Lowly smiled and said. Me, I'm in the same group as that snake. I didn't expect that there would be 2 ninjas in a pirate group, and they are both rebel ninjas. It's been a long time since I've tasted the taste of a ninja. Today is a good opportunity. Now that I've met it, how can I miss it? As she spoke, a long forked tongue stuck out of her mouth. Suya and Chun were instantly frightened. You are a snake. The lowly girl was none other than Ikikishima Haim. She smiled and said, yes, I told you that I was with that snake. Okay, no more wasting time, just be obedient and be eaten by me. Liao Ya put down Chun and whispered in her ear, I'll hold her back, you run. Ikikishima Hime smiled and said, run. Neither of you 2 can escape. The next moment, murderous intent filled the air, and Laoya and Chun were as if they had fallen into an ice cellar. Their whole bodies became stiff and they could not even move. It's over. Ikikishima Hime sneered and flew down. Her body began to change, and in an instant she turned into a big white snake. The huge mouth opened and engulfed the 2 of them. Seeing that the 2 of them were killed by Sheku, at this moment, from the sea in the distance, a spiral shuriken flew towards them at supersonic speed. Chapter 302. The Suffering Shark. The spiral shuriken shot out. Before Ikikishima Hime could react, a big snake's head was chopped off. Blood spilled into the sky, and the scene was shocking. The sea surface was dyed red, and Laoya and Chun below were also covered in snake blood. Everyone was dumbfounded. Ikikishima Hime had no time to react and was killed like this. She has many tricks, she can do what Orochimaru can do, she can do anything like breaking up, reconnecting, shedding skin and being reborn. But the Rasen Shuriken came so fast that she had no time to use it and was killed immediately. The huge snake head hit the sea, setting off a huge wave of more than 10 meters, hitting Laoya and Chun, knocking the 2 people who had not yet recovered into the water. No, Tsubaki. In the wave, Liaoya and Chun were washed away. Liaoya was extremely anxious, paddling frantically, looking for traces of Chun. But the wave was too big, and the blood and water blocked the field of vision, so Suya couldn't see where Chun was. Chun. He was extremely anxious, but there was nothing he could do. Although ninjas have mastered powers beyond the reach of ordinary people, their abilities are limited. At this time, Chun was swept far away from Liaoya by the waves. Originally, falling into the water was nothing to a ninja, but Chun was pregnant, and after the torment just now, she developed fetal force. My stomach already hurts. The severe pain left her unable to exert any strength, and she struggled to no avail. She was unable to stabilize her body and could only drift with the tide. When the waves stopped, Chun was washed away to an unknown place. Liao Ya stood on the water, looking around, but the sea was so bright that Chun could not be seen at all. Chun! Yenya yelled anxiously, but couldn't hear any response. He hurriedly dived under the water to look for her, but as far as he could see, there was no Chun at all. No. Chun felt her stomach hurt more and more, and the pain occupied her brain. Her body was curled up so that she could no longer float on the water. A wave hit and she was swept underwater. Sea water poured in crazily from her mouth and nose, and she wanted to swim to the surface, but the severe pain prevented her from exerting any strength. Her body sank deeper and deeper, and she drank more and more sea water. Consciousness gradually blurred. She knew that unless someone rescued her immediately, she would sink to the bottom of the sea and return to the pure land again. She is not afraid of death for those who have already died once. But she didn't want to die because there was still unfinished business. Child, I'm sorry for you, Mizuki-kun. In despair, she completely lost consciousness. Below is the deep black sea, the eternal darkness that the sun cannot reach. Her body sank downwards. Although she was unconscious, her hands were still covering her stomach and she would not let go. Suddenly, a force wrapped around her body, as if a rope was tied to her body, pulling her towards the water. With a crash sound, Chun's body emerged from the water. A man stood on the water, looking at Chun expressionlessly. Advertisement. This is Mizuki's shadow clone. After meeting Tsubaki on the sea last time, Mizuki specially sent a shadow clone to follow him secretly to see who the child in Tsubaki's belly was. Today the snakes in Raichi Cave were grabbing people on the sea surface, but he didn't care. But when he saw that Tsubaki was about to die at the mouth of Ikikishima Hime, he had no choice but to take action. Not to save Chun, but to save the child in Chun's belly. The real Mizuki died when he traveled back in time, so he has no feelings for Tsubaki. Although Chun died because of him, he also resurrected Chun and didn't owe her anything. But Mizuki was worried about the child in Chun's belly. This child might be related to him. Although he traveled through time and his soul occupied Mizuki's body, even if he gave birth to a child, the genetic information would still be the genetic information of the original Mizuki. But he still felt that the child had nothing to do with him. At least, it was him who had S*X with Chun that night. Although I didn't realize the process. Of course, it remains to be confirmed whether the child is his or her own. Only after the child is born can a paternity test be done to know the result. As for now, the child cannot die. He stretched out his hand, and a suction force was generated. A shark under the water was immediately sucked out of the water and landed next to Mizuki. His hands were on the shark. Heavenly resentment you. The vitality of the shark was immediately sucked away, it shriveled up at a speed visible to the naked eye, and finally turned into ashes. A ball of green light appeared on Mizuki's hand, which was the embodiment of life force. He directed the green light towards Chun, and Chun's body was enveloped in green light, and the life that was passing away immediately revived. His eyes looked at Chun's swollen belly, and then his expression changed slightly. Not good. The amniotic water has broken. This is a premature birth. What's going on here? Although he was suspicious, he was not sure whose child the child belonged to. If it was really the one with the sulfur teeth, the baby would not have been born long enough and the mother and fetus would not be fully developed, so it would be difficult to survive the premature birth. At this moment, the only thing he can do is to catch more sharks, extract their life force, and inject it into Chun's body. The baby also absorbs life force in the mother's womb. Maybe the baby can stabilize in the belly after gaining enough vitality, and it doesn't necessarily have to be born immediately if the amniotic water breaks. No matter what happens, even if it cannot be saved and can only be reborn, it still has enough vitality to prevent it from dying early on the ground. 20 or 30 sharks were drained in a row, and there was no more shark around. In broad daylight, the shark was attacked. That should be enough. He stared at Chun's belly and found that not only was the fetal air not stable, but the fetus was becoming more active. Tsubaki's belly also began to have contractions. Damn, are we still going to have a premature birth? He felt that it was a bit too much to inject so much life into him. The fetus has become extremely active, a little hyperactive, and has a tendency to no longer want to stay in the mother's belly and will come out soon. Advertisement. What's going on? I don't know how to deliver babies. But giving birth to a child is a matter of life and death. If you don't pay attention, you will kill 2 people. He had no choice but to take Chun and use the Flying Thunder God technique to return to Phoenix Village. You have to find a professional. Shizune. Quick, where is Shizune? Tsunade's anemia has not healed yet, so it is safest to find Shizune. At this time, Shizune was in the hospital operating room, helping Minato transplant his eyes. Mizuki lent his right eye to Minato, but since Minato didn't have a special physique or a secret skill like Blood Sky Resentment, the eye transplant couldn't be as efficient as just putting it on, so Shizune could only help with the surgery. Mizuki's shadow clone rushed to the hospital with Tsubaki in his arms, and happened to bump into the main body who had just walked out of the operating room and was missing a right eye. What's going on? Mizuki looked at Tsubaki in Shadow Clone's arms and asked in surprise. Shadow Clone said, she is going to be born prematurely. I don't know how to deliver her baby, so I can only take her back to the village first. Premature birth. Mizuki frowned and asked, what happened? Why was she suddenly born prematurely and her whole body wet? Was she attacked by a strong person? Shadow Clone said. I can't explain this matter in 1 or 2 sentences. I'd better resolve it myself. You can accept the memory. After saying that, he put Tsubaki into Mizuki's body and released it on his own. Mizuki's body trembled and he shouted, "Stop." Shadow Clone was stunned and asked, "What's wrong?" Mizuki said, "It must not be lifted now. My soul has been severely damaged. If I suddenly receive a large number of memories, I am afraid I will be in a coma." Shadow Clone asked curiously, "Who is so capable that it can cause your soul to be severely damaged? Also, where is your right eye? Was it taken out too?" Tisk tisk tisk, it's rare. I've been at sea all this time and I don't know what happened. I'm really curious. Mizuki snorted. This damn Shadow Clone dared to laugh at its true form. Okay, don't be wordy. Remember, you can never relieve yourself without my permission. Otherwise, everyone will suffer. You are also a part of me, and you won't be able to feel better when the time comes. Shizune is operating on Minato. If Tsubaki is born prematurely, she'd better leave it to another doctor. The hospital in Phoenix Village has been established for some time. Mizuki offered high wages and recruited some high-level doctors in the ninja world. If it's a premature birth, the obstetrician and gynecologist can take care of it, and the Shadow Clone has injected so much life into Tsubaki that she'll be fine. Leave it to you. You will be responsible for her affairs to the end. Mizuki's right eye socket is empty. He needs to find an eye to install first, otherwise it will be a bit scary when he walks out. Shadow Clone had no choice but to hug Chun again and found the obstetrician and gynecologist. Soon, Chun was pushed into the operating room. Shadow Clone is outside the operating room, walking around and living like a year. If it weren't for the smoking ban in the hospital, he would have started smoking by now. After an unknown amount of time, when a baby cry came from the operating room, Shadow Clone's body suddenly froze outside the operating room. A strange feeling came over me. At the same time, in the Fungying Tower office, Mizuki's body, which had just had one eye replaced, was also slightly startled. Somehow, there seems to be an extra connection. No way, is it really mine? Chapter 303. Tsunade sees through everything. We can't draw conclusions so quickly about this kind of thing. Maybe it's just an illusion. Let's go find Tsunade and do a paternity test. The technology tree in the Hokage world is weird. Let's talk about advanced technology. There is not even a car, and there are no TVs or phones. It may be said that it is not developed, but it can even clone humans and transplant body tissues regardless of rejection. It is full of ruthless work. The genus Orochimaru is the most outrageous, and can be created by a cybernetic, such as the seaside girl with fins on her body that Naruto met. Taken together, the technological level of the Hokage world is actually not low. It's just a little crooked. Medical skills are very developed, and research on human body science is highly developed. Paternity testing is actually not that difficult for a medical master like Tsunade, who has thoroughly studied the human body. This matter must be implemented as soon as possible. He went to the hospital first and saw the newborn child. It's a girl, very ugly, with wrinkled skin and not round at all. Due to premature birth, the child was very small, weighing less than 3 kilograms. But because Shadow Clone injected a lot of vitality into her body, even though she was born prematurely, her energy and health were not inferior to those of a healthy baby born at full term. In other words, babies are healthier than normal babies. The whole body exudes the vitality of life. Looking at the sleeping baby, although it was ugly, a smile appeared on Mizuki's face unconsciously. I had the urge to reach out and hug her, but I resisted. I haven't decided yet whether it's mine or not. Mizuki leaves the hospital and finds Tsunade drinking in a pub. I have a friend who suspects that his child is not his biological child and wants to do a paternity test. Your friend. Tsunade put down his glass and came over with a curious look on his face and asked, which friend of yours is yours? Tell me. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone else. Mizuki was speechless. It's weird to believe you. Why are you asking so many questions? Just tell me whether you want to help or not. Tsunade chuckled and said, I know who it is even if you don't tell me. It's Minato, right? I heard him and Kushina discussing quietly before, saying he wanted to have another child. I must suspect that Naruto is not my biological child, so I want a child that is truly my own. Mizuki. Where is this? Naruto and Minato have the same hair color and eye color, similar body shape and face shape, and even have similar gentle personalities. Only Minato would be mentally retarded to doubt. He looked serious and said solemnly, as long as you know this in your heart, don't tell it. Otherwise, if the news reaches the ears of the villagers, everyone will look bad. He is a person with status after all. If word spreads to the ninja world, the entire Phoenix village will be embarrassed. Tsunade nodded. I understand. I understand, Mizuki said. Then I'll leave it to you. Do it secretly and get the results as soon as possible. Advertisement. Tsunade said. Please, what are you asking me to do? How can I make a judgment on whether it's your biological child or not? I've never heard of the paternity test you're talking about. Mizuki. It's so easy to refuse. Since you haven't heard of it, why do you ask so many questions? But now that Mizuki has come to visit, Tsunade cannot refuse. After all, there is no other person besides Tsunade. Orochimaru is dead. It's very simple. With your knowledge of medical ninjutsu, you can solve it easily. I will tell you the principle and you will know. Tsunade became interested and said, tell me about it. Mizuki said, everyone has genetic information in their cells. This genetic information comes from their parents. You don't need me to explain this. Tsunade nodded slightly. These are common sense in biology, of course she knows it. Mizuki continued. Half of a person's genes come from the father and half from the mother. Therefore, by comparing the genetic information of parents and children, you can determine whether the child is biological. This is a paternity test. Tsunade understood immediately. In fact, the reason is very simple, but few people in the ninja world will check whether their children are biological, especially ninjas. All ninjas have strict demands on themselves, and the 3 ninja taboos are strictly observed. Even a homeless person like Jiraiya, who regards the 3 forbidden ninjas as nothing, would not mess around. Therefore, 99.99% of the children of ninjas are his own biological children. A medical ninja would never have time to think about paternity testing. This is why, although the principle of paternity testing is simple, Tsunade has never understood it. Now that Mizuki will stay away from simple instructions, Tsunade certainly knows what to do. What a boring thing. But you are Ying. Since you have found me, I will help you with this. Give me the things that carry the genetic information of both parties. The results will be available soon. Mizuki took out 2 small pieces of nails and handed them to Tsunade. Although the hair is okay, it is too obvious. Minato and Naruto's hair is orange, but Mizuki's hair is silver. The nails didn't matter, since Tsunade wouldn't be able to tell whose nails they were. Tsunade took the nails, suspicion flashing in his eyes. These nails are so tender, are they Naruto's? Mizuki's face didn't change, his heart didn't beat, and he said casually, who knows, maybe it was soaked in water. Tsunade didn't think much, walked out of the tavern with her nails in hand, and walked towards her exclusive laboratory. In order to bring out Tsunade's medical master ability, Mizuki spent a lot of money to purchase a lot of advanced instruments and built an exclusive high-end laboratory specifically for Tsunade for her research use. Mizuki also followed Tsunade to the laboratory. Tsunade is indeed a master of medical skills, and the results came out in less than half an hour. How about it? Mizuki looked calm and indifferent, looking indifferent to the results. But I feel a little uneasy inside. Tsunade held the form and looked very ugly. Mizuki was a little panicked and asked, what happened? Is there something wrong with the result? Tsunade said. There is a problem, there is a big problem. Naruto is really not Minato's biological child. Advertisement. What? This. Mizuki's eyes widened. The anxiety disappeared in an instant, and the expectation in my heart disappeared into nothing. That child is not his own. At this moment, he didn't know whether he was happy or disappointed. I am glad that I have lost a bond, but I am also disappointed that I have lost a daughter. Whether it is a gain or a loss is somewhat unclear. He quickly adjusted his attitude and said, Tsunade, this matter must not be spread out. No matter who it is, no one can reveal a word. Tsunade's expression changed and he laughed. No, I lied to you, do you really believe me? Mizuki shouted, what did you say? Tsunade. I said, I lied to you. The test result is that the 2 are biological father and daughter. Mizuki is struck by lightning. Only 4 words echoed in my mind. Biological father and daughter, biological father and daughter, father and daughter, daughter. Me, I have a daughter. Am I really a father? He confirmed to Tsunade. You didn't, you're kidding me. Tsunade stopped smiling, stared at Mizuki, and snorted. You were the one who made the joke first. It's obviously a female doll, and it's under 1 year old, but you say it's Minato and Naruto. Do you think I'm easy to deceive? Also, in that adult man's fingernail, I detected a large amount of residual traces of vitality. Except for you and Naruto, who practice heavenly resentment there is no third person with this level of vitality. Therefore, the girl's biological father is you. Right, Mizuki. Do you really think that after I drank, my brain lost my judgment? My eyes have already seen through everything. Mizuki is embarrassed. Mizuki took the form and looked at it. The series of matches made his eyes jump. If her soul had not been damaged, giving Tsunade amnesia would have made her forget the incident. Now, I have to deal with this. Mizuki was speechless. Am I that kind of person? This matter is very complicated. I'll explain it later when I have the chance. All matches. No, the results are all in the table, you can see for yourself. It was all the fault of the god of light. My soul was severely damaged, and even my thinking and logical abilities were affected, and my consideration of problems became incomplete. Tsunade said cheerfully. How fresh. Which child is not born accidentally? Now that he is sure it is his own child, he must consider the aftermath. In addition, this matter will be kept secret for the time being. The child will first live in Fenghuang village as my adopted daughter. As for her mother, the identity will not be disclosed. But now he can't do it. Tisk, 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 you can't tell. It's hidden so deep. Tell me, what's going on? Tsunade said with a smile on his face. Okay, let me show it off. It is indeed my daughter. As for what happened, I can only say that it was an accident. Now that Tsunade discovered it, he couldn't hide it even if he wanted to. Who was the mother of the child? She couldn't be the girl you robbed because of Feng Ying's identity, right? The dignified first-generation Feng Ying gave birth to a daughter quietly and without telling everyone. She is so amazing. Good guy, why didn't I consider such a huge loophole? Chapter 304. Why not take this opportunity to kill him? In the hospital, Mizuki held the child in his arms and looked at Chun on the hospital bed. You are the child's mother, but this child cannot stay with you. I know you hate me, and you know that I am not the real Mizuki. Keeping this child is just to give the real Mizuki a heir. Maybe in your opinion, this child has nothing to do with me. Mizuki came through time travel, and his soul came through time traveling and took over this body. Therefore, from a genetic perspective alone, this child does have nothing to do with him. But since there is a soul, is what parents pass on to their children really just a physical inheritance? Will the soul also be passed down? If soul information can also be inherited, then this child is related to Mizuki. At Mizuki's level, his understanding of life is completely different from before. Although there is no confirmation, Mizuki feels that what parents pass on to their children is not just the body. Otherwise, why would I feel an extra connection when this child was born? So in my mind, this child has a constant connection with me. You hate me, and I don't have any feelings for you, so I'm sorry. He turned to the shadow clone beside him and said, send her away. Shadow clone nodded and left with Chun using Flying Thunder God. He will send Chun back to the sea and create another chance for Liao Ya to find the unconscious Chun. After Chun woke up, she found that the child in her belly was gone. She would only think that the child had a miscarriage and sank to the bottom of the sea when she was in coma. She did not know that the child had been successfully born and became the little princess of Phoenix Village. Mizuki lowered his head and looked at the little one in his arms, with tenderness on his face unconsciously. This feeling is amazing. In his last life, he died inexplicably. He was not married, had no children, and had never experienced the feeling of being a father. Now that I suddenly became a father, I felt a little at a loss, but more than anything, I was happy. Cute little guy, welcome to this world. Next, I want to give you a name. What should you call it? He left the hospital with the child in his arms, thinking about a name as he walked. On the way, a villager met Mizuki and saw the child in Mizuki's arms. He immediately asked out of curiosity, Master Mizuki, is this your child? Whenever someone asks this question, Mizuki immediately stops and replies with a smile. Yes, this is my daughter, she was just born. The villagers were a little confused by Mizuki's answer. Is he really Mizuki-sama's child? But Mizuki-sama is not married yet, and he doesn't even have a girlfriend. How could he suddenly have a daughter? The villagers were puzzled, so they all suspected that this was Mizuki's adopted daughter. As for the child's mother, rumors spread from the hospital that she died in childbirth. Mizuki returned home with the child, and soon Kakashi, Hinata, Hazashi, Neji, Zabuza, Gaara and others came after hearing the news. Mizuki, are you really planning to adopt this child? Kakashi asked in surprise. Mizuki immediately said, who said I adopted this child? This is my biological daughter, okay. Everyone was speechless. Who doesn't know that if you don't have a girlfriend, how could you have a biological daughter? Advertisement. Zabuza said, you are a grown man, can you raise a child? In my opinion, you should send it to an orphanage. There are people there who specialize in taking care of babies. Mizuki's eyes widened and he said, why send her to an orphanage? Of course I will raise my biological daughter myself. As for whether you can raise it or not, that's just a small question. There's everything in the book. Mizuki escaped from a thick stack of books. When everyone takes a look, they are all books about parenting, such as baby care, baby sleep, baby diet, early education games, and so on. Are you serious? Kakashi asked in surprise, his eyes widening. Mizuki. Nonsense, I just said she is my biological daughter, how can I still lie? Everyone was sighing in their hearts, wondering why Mizuki had gone so crazy that he suddenly became interested in raising children. It was really incomprehensible. But then I thought about it, Mizuki's soul has been severely damaged now, and he can't do office work. He has nothing to do at home, probably because he wants to raise a child to pass the time. Seeing that the persuasion failed, everyone stopped persuading. Instead, they all shared their knowledge about taking care of babies. Whether they were right or wrong, they all passed them on to Mizuki. Mizuki smiled and said, you singles are worthy of teaching me how to raise children. Apart from Hazashi, do you have any experience? Zabuza said proudly, there are also babies in the orphanage. I often go to help take care of them. Of course I have experience. Neji and Hinata also said, when we were in Konoha, we took over the task of taking care of babies, so we have experience. Others, we have also been genin, and we have all taken over the task of taking care of children. We are definitely experienced enough. You are right to listen to us. Mizuki. With such an extra child, Fengwang village becomes more lively. In the operating room of the hospital, Shizune removed the gauze from Minato's head, while Kushina watched nervously. After the gauze was removed, Shizune said, the internal wounds have completely healed. You can open your eyes and get used to it. Minato nodded and said, I understand. His left eye opened first, but his right eye could only open slowly. The left eye has not changed, but the right eye has been replaced with Mizuki's golden Rinnegan. This right eye was returned by the system after Mizuki took Obito's right eye away from Rinnegan and gave it to Naruto. This eye hosts the pupil technique Kamui, and the effect is better than Obito's Kamui. In addition to the first time, this eye can give the host 1,000 times the strength and nerve reaction speed, which is an absolute qualitative change in the improvement of physical skills. Minato, how do you feel? Kushina asked with concern on her face. Minato's right eye slowly opened until it was fully open. It feels so strange, all moving objects seem to slow down. Then he said to Kushina, don't worry, I feel fine. Shizune said, Sharingan has extremely strong dynamic vision. Rinnegan is an advanced version of Sharingan, and its dynamic vision is even more powerful. And Mizuki said that the power of this eye is more powerful than ordinary Rinnegan. Minato nodded and said, I can already feel it. This kind of powerful power is really fascinating. He turned to Kushina and said, I will set off immediately to rescue Naruto. Kushina immediately grabbed him and said, don't. You have just changed your eyes and are not familiar with the new power yet. Now go, what if you make a mistake? Advertisement. I passed the barrier and confirmed that Naruto is fine, and his vitality is still strong. Mizuki is right, Black Zetsu only controls Naruto's body, not takes Naruto's life. So you'd better get familiar with this eye first. After you master its power, it's not too late to go there. You will be more confident then. Minato thought for a moment, nodded and said, in 3 days at most, I will get used to the power of this eye. I will bring Naruto back within 3 days. Kushina. I believe you. By the way, I have some good news for you. Minato still had worry about Naruto on his face, but since Kushina said it was good news at a time like this, it must be really good news. What good news? Kushina. I'm pregnant. Minato's eyes widened, this news was indeed good news. But now Naruto's life or death is uncertain. Should he be happy or sad? At Mizuki's house, the excitement has ended. Everyone left after watching the children. Zabuza, wait a minute. So Zabuza stayed. Minato said. Today at sea, snakes from Raichi Cave appeared. They attacked the ship and captured many people. The life and death of those people is none of our business, but this kind of thing cannot happen in the bird country. You often travel outside looking for orphans, so please observe when you are outside. If there is a Raichi Cave snake clan arresting people in the land of birds, please tell me immediately. Everyone who wanted to kill him died. Even the envoy of light from God's domain couldn't kill him. How powerful is he? I will personally take action and send you to the Pure Land to be with Shimahime. A mortal white snake said coldly, Shenji, your idea is very dangerous. White Snake Sage's face changed dramatically, and he shouted loudly, damn Ikikishimahime, I told her to stay away from the bird country, why didn't she listen? Now if she offends him, my Raichi Cave is in danger. Snakes are cold-blooded animals, and they really don't feel anything about the death of their companions. Mizuki was seriously injured. This news has been confirmed. Although he killed Shimahime, he did it in a sneak attack. And he has not come to my door yet, which shows that he has no ability to cause trouble in Raichi Cave. White Snake Sage frowned slightly and said, how did she die? Shimahime's strength is considered to be the best in the ninja world. In addition, she can escape back to Raichi Cave against the summoning at any time. Who can kill her so cleanly? Zabuza nodded in agreement. In my estimation, his injuries are very serious. One Rasenshuriken shot is already the limit. Ancestor, Shimahime is dead. Logically speaking, she should be sad when her companion dies, but Tianjin Shinheime's face is expressionless, and she has no sadness at the death of Ichiki Shimahime. A mortal white snake asked, what do you want to say? Raichi Cave, the atmosphere in the temple is a bit depressing. Tien Shin Shenji, how about we take this opportunity to kill him? The only one who can use Rasenshuriken, besides Mizuki, is Naruto. Give up the thoughts you shouldn't have, and don't mention a word about it from now on, otherwise. Tien Shin Shenji said. Ancestor, don't panic. Tienshin Shenji replied. I don't know who it is, but Shimahime died under the Rasen Shuriken, and the ninja world knows the Rasen Shuriken. She did not continue. Chapter 305. The seal of the Pure Land is broken. The murder of Shimahime is not over yet. Go to Phoenix Village in person and apologize to Mizuki. No matter what the reason was for him to kill Shimahime, it is all our fault. Your apology must be sincere and Mizuki must not be dissatisfied at all. Tien Shin Shenji didn't understand. Yes, Mizuki is very strong. That day, she and Yakushi Kabuto sneaked into Phoenix Village and met Mizuki who was seriously injured. At that time, Mizuki had difficulty getting up. Anyone with eyes could see the pain and weakness. But even though he was seriously injured, Yakushi Kabuto didn't get any benefits. Who would have thought that Mizuki could cut off his own head? The key is that the headless body actually exploded with such strong power that Yakushi Kabuto almost died just by tapping the ground with his toes. But no matter what, Mizuki, who was seriously injured, shouldn't be so afraid of his ancestors. If the ancestor was willing to take action, he might actually be able to kill Mizuki. The seriously injured Mizuki is definitely not as strong as he was in his prime. If he doesn't kill him now, he will never have another chance in the future. Is it necessary to be so afraid? Ancestor, does this seem too humble? Our Raichi cave is one of the 3 holy places, but... Immortal White Snake didn't wait for her to finish speaking, and directly scolded, "Shut up. What do you know? So what about the 3 major holy places? Mount Myoboku next door has become a cemetery. Are our Raichi cave snake clan any better than those toads? Recognize the reality clearly and don't be blind, so that it can be passed down for a long time. If you don't understand this, when I die in the future, this Raichi cave will be destroyed by your hands." Tien Shin Shenji expressed strong disagreement with the words of the White Snake Immortal, but she did not dare to refute it. She could only say, "Yes, I will follow the religious teachings of my ancestors." The White Snake Immortal narrowed his eyes and looked at Tien Shin Shenji, knowing that she was dissatisfied, but he didn't say anything more. "Now stand down and go to Fenghuang village to apologize as I asked. On the way, go to the treasure cave to get 2,000-year-old snake galls to take with you as an apology." Tien Shin Shenji's eyes widened and she exclaimed, "What, 2,000-year-old snake gallbladders? Ancestor, is this price too high?" Immortal White Snake glared at her and scolded, "I'll give it as I say. Why are you so long-winded? Why don't you just follow my instructions?" Although Tien Shin Shenji was very unhappy, the White Snake Immortal said so, and she did not dare to raise any objections. "I know, I'll do it now, and I won't disobey my ancestors' orders." White Snake Sage said calmly, "By the way, call Yakushi Kabuto to see me before you go." "Yes." Tien Shin Shenji respectfully withdrew, leaving only the White Snake Immortal in the temple. "Why?" A helpless sigh slowly echoed in the temple. "Shimahime, Shimahime, you are out of luck. Why did you happen to meet Mizuki's ex-girlfriend? Although they have broken up and have no relationship, his ex-girlfriend is pregnant. Whether the child is Mizuki's or not, Mizuki will be suspicious. So, if you don't die, who will? As White Snake Sennin's right-hand man, how could White Snake Sennin really not care about the death of Aikikishima Haim? She immediately conducted an investigation and finally found out the real reason why Mizuki took action. Advertisement. Fortunately, you died in time without causing a big mistake, otherwise Mizuki's anger would not be directed at you alone. If it is because of you that Raichi Cave is now targeted by Mizuki, then you will be the eternal sinner of my Raichi Cave White Snake clan." She took a puff of cigarette, blew out the smoke ring, and her eyes gradually flew away. "Just wait. It won't be long. He is seriously injured now, and his soul is injured. He has no energy for the time being. As long as you stay steady and don't rush." After Tienshin Jinji leaves the temple, she finds Yakushi Kabuto. "The ancestors are looking for you. Impure world reincarnation should be ready to begin." Yakushi Kabuto smiled and said, "I have been waiting for this day for a long time. It is a very interesting thing to let the dead reappear in the world." Tien Shin Shenji asked, "I remember you said before that people who come out of the impure world reincarnation can only be sealed and cannot be killed." Yakushi Kabuto said, "That's right. Impure world reincarnation is a forbidden technique invented by second Hokage. Lord Orochimaru perfected it. People who come out of impure world reincarnation are immortal. Even if their bodies are broken, they can recover quickly. And they have unlimited chakra. A ninja army composed of the body of impure world reincarnation will be invincible and sweep across the ninja world." Tien Shin Shenji's eyes brightened slightly. Her mouth moved slightly, but no sound came out, but Yakushi Kabuto heard her talking. "Are you interested in destroying Phoenix Village?" Tienshin Shenji felt ashamed when she thought that she was about to go to Phoenix Village to apologize on behalf of Raichi Cave. Raichi Cave is one of the 3 holy places. As a senior leader of Raichi Cave, his status is second only to the White Snake Sage and he holds a high position of authority. Looking at the entire ninja world, he is also a figure standing at the top of the pyramid. But now, she was asked to go to Phoenix Village, present precious gifts, and then humbly ask Mizuki to be magnanimous. She can't bear it. Her innate pride prevented her from accepting what was about to happen. Yakushi Kabuto looked at Tien Shinji, said nothing, and just nodded. Tien Shin Shenji stuck out her tongue, showed a cruel smile, and then turned around and left. Yakushi Kabuto looked at Tien Shinji's back, the arrogance in his eyes receded and became cautious. The body of impure world reincarnation cannot be killed, it can only be sealed. And Mizuki possesses a powerful sealing technique. The planetary devastation technique has easily sealed hundreds of Sand Shinobi village ninjas. Even tailed beasts can be easily sealed. So the army of dirty soil has no advantage when facing Mizuki. He had no intention of using the army of dirt to deal with Phoenix Village. As for the nod to Tien Shinji just now, it was just to coax her. Now that he was in Raichi Cave, he had to act according to the snake's face. Once he truly has an army of dirty soil, he won't have to look at Tien Shin Shenji's face anymore. He walked towards the temple. "White Snake Immortal, are you looking for me?" Yakushi Kabuto stood in front of the White Snake throne, his head lowered, very respectful. White Snake Immortal said, "I have prepared some sacrifices for the impure world reincarnation. Although it is not enough, I will continue to prepare them. You should use these sacrifices now, lest I, Raichi Cave, have to provide food to support them. Remember, give priority to summoning those masters." Yakushi Kabuto said respectfully, "I understand." Immortal White Snake said, "Go and prepare. I will take action in half an hour." Advertisement. The seal of the Pure Land will be broken by then, and it will last for a day. You need to hurry up and try to summon as many souls out as possible. After Yakushi Kabuto left, White Snake Sennin put down his pipe. It is coiled on the throne, close your eyes and recuperate your mind. Half an hour later, it opened its eyes, raised its head and blew out several mouthfuls of immortal energy. The immortal energy gathered in the air above its head, and a mysterious formation appeared. The lines of the formation are extremely complex, making people feel dizzy at a glance. The movement of the array pattern operates according to certain rules. Immediately afterwards, the cat's eye stone on its neck fell off the necklace, flew up, and landed in the center of the formation. The formation began to operate at high speed, and terrifying energy fluctuations spread out from the formation. The entire Raichi cave was affected by this energy, and some snakes who had cultivated underground fell into coma instantly. Others with some strength also felt dizzy and groggy. It turns out that this formation emits fluctuations of spiritual energy. Start. In the temple, a mortal white snake gave a soft drink, and the formation suddenly released golden light. This golden light shot straight upward like a pillar. However, before the golden light pillar even touched the roof of the temple, it suddenly broke off as if it had entered another dimension. At the same time, Sage of Six Paths suddenly opened his eyes and frowned. Who was breaking the seal again? Then his eyes instantly locked onto Raichi Cave. White Snake, are you taking revenge on me? In Raichi Cave, Yakushi Kabuto had already prepared. There were hundreds of people lying on the ground in front of them, all alive, but all unconscious. Kabuto, it's time to start. White Snake Sage's voice sounded in his ears. Kabuto nodded and took out a scroll with drawn spells on it. Then he took out another piece of flesh and blood. Master Orochimaru, I'll choose you first. After saying this, he pressed the piece of flesh and blood onto the scroll technique, and then formed a seal. Summoning technique. Impure World Reincarnation. The spell on the scroll immediately extended to the ground, surrounding the body of the person in front of him, shrouded in green light, and dust began to fly. But the next moment, the green light dissipated and the dust fell back to the ground. Orochimaru, filthy earth, failed. Yakushi Kabuto frowned. The seal of the Pure Land has not been broken. Or is Orochimaru-sama not dead at all? At the same time, in the remote ghost country, in a certain underground space, Naruto, who was sitting cross-legged on the ground, opened his right eye. No, it was Black Zetsu who opened his eye. Raichi Cave has started. In that case, I can start here too. He also took out a piece of flesh and blood and placed it on the ground. Resurrection, my tool man. Heretic. Rinne Tensai Technique. Chapter 306. Hot Mom, long time no see. The green light is dazzling. When the green light dissipated, a man wearing a red Sengoku armor, with long black hair, a resolute face, and a haki side opened his eyes. Finally, the day has come. He breathed the fresh air, felt the beating of his heart and the flow of blood in his body, and his face showed satisfaction. It's still the world of the living, more comfortable. Mom, I'm back, and soon I'll prove that I was right. You will definitely stop me, I'm looking forward to it. Black Zetsu on the side was completely ignored. Madara only has Hashirama in her eyes and heart. Black Zetsu has long been accustomed to Uchiha Madara talking about Hot Mom. This situation does not happen every day or two. In addition to the Hot Mom, anyone in Uchiha Madara's eyes will be ignored. Seeing that the atmosphere was almost over, Black Zetsu respectfully shouted, "Welcome Madara-sama to return to the ninja world." Madara glanced at Black Zetsu and asked calmly, "This young Chakra is so strong. He has such strength at this age. He is about to catch up with me and Hot Mom when we were young. Is he the genius of that family? What is his identity?" Black Zetsu is a little angry. "I am your nominal subordinate, okay? I've worked hard for so many years and finally brought you back to life, and you didn't even say, thank you, for your hard work, but the first thing you said was that you cared about Naruto's identity. Are there any bosses like this?" Back to Madara-sama, this boy's name is Uzumaki Naruto. He is Nine Tails Jinchuriki. In terms of identity, his father is 4th Hokage, his mother is Uzumaki Kushina, and his master is. Madara was not interested in continuing to listen, interrupted Black Zetsu's words, and said calmly, "The son of the Hokage, from a prominent family, with the blood of the Uzumaki clan, plus mastering the power of 9 tails, no wonder he has such a powerful chakra in his body." Black Zetsu opened his mouth. What he wanted to tell Madara most was the identity of Naruto's master. But it was obvious that Madara wasn't interested in listening. He also wanted to tell Madara that Naruto has not mastered the power of 9 tails now, and even consumes his own chakra to maintain the seal of 9 tails. If the power of 9 tails is controlled, there will be more chakra. At this time, in the sealed space inside Naruto's body, 9 tails opened his eyes. Through Naruto's body, it saw Madara, and happened to meet Madara's cold eyes. Madara. Its anger instantly ignited, and he recalled the days when Madara used illusions to control it, which was its most humiliating time. It wanted to rush out and tear Madara into pieces. Madara saw the existence of 9 tails through the seal, but he only glanced at it and looked away, not paying attention to 9 tails at all. How far along is the plan? Where are Nagato and Obito? Black Zetsu laughed dryly and replied, "Nagato, that's unreliable. Obito, even more unreliable. Advertisement. As for the original plan, it has been stillborn. Madara's eyes narrowed, and murderous intent instantly filled the entire underground space. Black Zetsu couldn't help but shudder. Of course, he was pretending. What happened? Black Zetsu said helplessly. Originally, everything was normal. The Akatsuki organization was preparing to collect the tailed beasts. Obito was hiding behind the scenes of the Akatsuki organization and firmly controlling the direction. But who knew that a Mizuki would appear in Konoha? His strength is really a bit. Madara sneered. How strong is it? Isn't Nagato his opponent? Black Zetsu said. Not only is Nagato no match for him, not even first Hokage can beat him. But Madara's eyes lit up and she asked loudly, what did you say? Hachi Lama is also resurrected. Black Zetsu. What's your brain circuit? I'm talking about Mizuki and you only heard Hash Mom. Black Zetsu feels very tired. Not resurrection, but impure world reincarnation. Madara immediately lost most of her interest and said, cut. What's the name of that guy you just said? He's stronger than Hash Hot Mom. Which family is he from? Black Zetsu. He has no family, and his parents are civilians in Konoha village, but he didn't know what method he used to learn all kinds of weird ninjutsu, and he didn't even know what method he used to open the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and Rinnegan. Such strength is rare in the ninja world since ancient times. Oh, Madara's interest finally increased when she heard Rinnegan. I'm getting curious, how did a commoner without any bloodline gain great power? Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and Rinnegan, is he the hidden descendant of Uchiha who has been exposed? Black Zetsu said. There were rumors in the ninja world that Mizuki was a descendant of the Otsutsuki clan. Otsutsuki? What is that? Madara looked confused. Among the famous families in the ninja world, is the Otsutsuki clan. How did I not hear it being said? Black Zetsu said. According to my investigation, Sage of Six Paths, original name is Otsutsuki Hagoromo, his younger brother is named Otsutsuki Hamura, and their mother's name is Otsutsuki Kagaya. There is also a younger brother named Otsutsuki Black Zetsu. Of course, Black Zetsu didn't dare to say this. Some time ago, Konoha village was attacked. The attacker's name was Otsutsuki Arashiki. According to him, the Otsutsuki family lives deep in the stars and is the strongest race in the universe. There are also rumors that Uchiha and Senju's bloodline comes from the Sage of Six Paths. If this is the case, Uchiha and Senju are also descendants of Otsutsuki. However, whether the Sage of Six Paths exists is a legend. Uchiha is a descendant of Six Paths, which is even more nonsense. Madara looked solemn and said, no. The Uchiha clan is indeed descended from the Sage of Six Paths. On the stone tablet of the Uchiha clan, it is written clearly that Uchiha and Senju are descendants of the Sage of Six Paths. The combined power of Uchiha and Senju can unlock the Rinnegan. Madara has no doubts about the content on the stone tablet. So after the battle in the Valley of the End, he faked his death to escape and bit off a piece of Hashirama's flesh in order to gain Senju's power. Advertisement. In the end, as he expected, by gathering the power of Uchiha and Senju, he successfully opened the Rinnegan. Madara's face became more and more solemn, and he said, tell me the details of Mizuki's situation. I want to know all his information. Black Zetsu nodded. This Madara finally began to take Mizuki seriously. Black Zetsu didn't want to see the tool man he finally resurrected rashly run to Phoenix Village to capture the tailed beast, and then be killed directly. As long as Madara can take it seriously, the future will be promising. Before Mizuki defected to Konoha Village, he was just an ordinary chunin. He did very poorly. He worked as an assistant teacher in a ninja school and his salary was very low. Black Zetsu has already investigated all the information about Mizuki. All Mizuki's experiences, as long as they can be found, Black Zetsu has not spared. For him, sneaking into Konoha's archives to look up information was extremely simple. He has narrowly avoided being targeted by Konoha's high-level officials and the Akatsuki organization's many attacks. Every time he takes action, his strength is different. It seems like he is getting stronger every time, and it seems like he has been hiding. In the country of waves, he killed Kakuzu and Hidan. In the Konoha Chunin exam, he killed the third Hokage and the fourth Kazekage. Konoha village, the second Hokage is gone, the first generation was defeated and fled back to the village, barely resisting with the help of the barrier. Quote. Space ninjutsu, flying ninjutsu, Sharingan, Rinnegan, infinite vitality. His trump cards seem to be endless. The great toad sage of Mount Myoboku, a terrifying six paths level strongman, could not kill him despite several attempts, and was eventually killed. Madara's expression could no longer be described as solemn, but became ugly. He stared at Black Zetsu with squinted eyes and said coldly, are you sure you're not kidding me? Master Madara, I am transformed by your will, how could I possibly play tricks on you? Recently, a guy named the God of Light broke into Phoenix Village, saying that he came from the divine realm and was the messenger of Susanoo God Tier, and he wanted to take Mizuki as a slave. I will go, but I have to go to Konoha first. A battle broke out between the two, but the battle took place in a different space. No one knows the specific outcome. The God of Light did not appear again. Mizuki's soul was severely injured and he is recovering in the village. Madara thought, right, he can't play tricks on me. What is the God of Light? What is from the realm of God? What is Susanoo God tier? Why does it sound more and more wrong the more I hear it? Hash hot mom. Long time no see, I miss you so much. Although Mizuki is seriously injured, it is still risky for you if you try your best. Madara was not happy hearing this. Black Zetsu saw Madara frowning and thought he was still suspicious, so he said, Master Madara, if you don't believe it, you can go to Phoenix Village and have a look. He even felt that he was listening to stories rather than facts. I am also extremely dissatisfied with Mizuki's strength. Hearing this, Madara frowned. Black Zetsu was stunned for a moment. I also took this opportunity to sneak into Phoenix Village, seize Naruto's body, and use the Rinnegan to resurrect you. Now that Mizuki is seriously injured, Phoenix Village is not in danger, as long as you don't be too high profile and don't cause violent conflicts. In this case, wouldn't everything he said be true? Chapter 307. How did you know? We haven't seen each other since the battle in the Valley of the End, right, Hash Mom? I can't wait to see your surprised eyes, ha 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 ha. Madara raised her head slightly and laughed wildly. Black Zetsu stood aside, wondering why Madara was smiling so happily. Madara-sama, regarding the collection of tailed beasts, it is a bit difficult because of the presence of Mizuki. Madara stopped laughing and Haki said, no matter what obstacles lie ahead, I will never give up. This world is riddled with holes, and only infinite Tsukuyomi can purify it. Didn't you say that his soul has been severely damaged now and his strength has been greatly reduced? Then take this opportunity to get rid of him and prevent him from ruining my plan. Black Zetsu shook his head. The Toad clan of Mount Myoboku was destroyed. No one else knew this news, but he knew it. White Zetsu clones are scattered all over the ninja world, and Susanoo, who is thousands of meters tall, is really too conspicuous. During the ancient mother-son battle, Susanoo from Sage of Six Paths was about the same age as Ten Tails, which was already deeply remembered by Black Zetsu. But Susan of Sage of Six Paths was not even knee-high when placed in front of Mizuki's Susan. It's so cruel. Black Zetsu believes that even if her mother Otsutsuki Kagaya is resurrected, she will never be a match for Mizuki. He was desperate. The appearance of the God of Light finally gave Black Zetsu hope. Then Mizuki and Naruto disappeared for several days, and rumors spread in the ninja world that they were dead. Although the news was not confirmed and was just everyone's guess, Black Zetsu was still very happy. As long as Mizuki is really dead, Mother's resurrection will be much easier. So he personally sneaked into Fengwang village. The yin-yang escape he mastered allowed him to easily ignore the perception barrier and come and go at will in Fengwang village. He couldn't sense Mizuki and Naruto's chakra in Phoenix village and was overjoyed. The rumors seemed to be true. Mizuki and Naruto may have been captured or killed by the sudden appearance of the God of Light. But before he was happy for a few days, Mizuki's chakra unexpectedly reappeared, causing Black Zetsu to fall into despair again. Mizuki is not dead at all. The appearance of Mizuki made Black Zetsu panic. He immediately ran away for fear of being discovered. But the development of things was unexpected. When he was about to escape, he found that Mizuki suddenly appeared and was seriously injured. The injuries were at the soul level, which affected his body and made it difficult to get up. Evil arises from courage, and he immediately became murderous. Advertisement. When he was about to take action, Tienshin Shenji appeared, but was frightened away by Mizuki. Then Yakushi Kabuto appeared, and revealed Mizuki's external strength and internal strength, and directly attacked Mizuki. Black Zetsu was overjoyed, no matter who takes action, as long as Mizuki is killed. As expected, Mizuki was really a strong man but he actually escaped, but not far. Yakushi Kabuto chased after him, and he also followed secretly. I thought that the next plot would be Yakushi Kabuto unilaterally killing Mizuki, but unexpectedly, things went unexpectedly again. Mizuki actually cut off his own head. The scene was really horrifying. Even he, an old monster who had lived for thousands of years, didn't understand the meaning of Mizuki's sexy move. But this was nothing, because an even more horrifying scene appeared next. Mizuki's headless body actually moved on its own. Simply tapping the ground with one foot can cause devastating damage over a large area. If he hadn't been on the side and not affected, he would have died at that time. It was what he saw and heard this time that made Black Zetsu completely give up his plan to capture the tailed beast from Phoenix village. That is a monster that must not be messed with. Huh, what do you mean by shaking your head? Madara asked coldly. You have already said that most of the tailed beasts are in Phoenix village. If you don't get rid of Mizuki, how can you collect the 9 tailed beasts? If you don't collect all the tailed beasts, how can you resurrect 10 tails, then summon the sacred tree, and cast infinite Tsukuyomi? Black Zetsu. Madara-sama, I have a more direct way to get 10 tails without collecting the 9 tailed beasts. Madara asked. What method? Is there another 10 tails in the ninja world? Madara just asked, but Black Zetsu nodded. Yes, after all these years of exploring the ninja world, I actually found traces of another 10 tails. When Kagaya and Ashiki came to the ninja world, in addition to the 10 tails they planted, Ashiki also controlled another 10 tails. Kagaya knew this news, but Black Zetsu didn't. Sage of Six Paths from Kagaya's mouth. I know that one move can master another 10 tails, but I don't know where exactly. But during this time, the shell tissue emerged, and Shion secretly guarded Konoha, which allowed Sage of Six Paths to find clues. See Shion often travels in and out of different spaces, and Sage of Six Paths also successfully found the location of another 10 tails. He also secretly planned to let Black Zetsu also master this information. So, Black Zetsu also knows. Black Zetsu looked at Madara and said, although the other 10 tails is only in its infancy, if it is absorbed into the Gedo statue, and then Madara-sama absorbs it into 10 tails Jinchuriki, the power will be enough to summon the sacred tree and open infinite Tsukuyomi. Advertisement. Madara nodded and said, it's a convenient method. But, even so, I still have to go to Phoenix Village to meet the ninja named Mizuki. Except for Hashi Hot Mom, there is no one in the ninja world that I can take a look at. This rising star is so highly praised by you, I must investigate and appreciate his dancing. If the name is not worthy of the name, The murderous look flashed in his eyes. Okay, now I have to go to Konoha Village and take a look at the Hash Mom. After meeting the Hash Hot Mom, I want to take back my eyes. Since Nagato doesn't live up to expectations, I can only carry out the plan myself. You first go to the country of rain and find out Nagato's location. I don't want to waste time looking for someone. After Madara finished speaking, she turned around and prepared to leave. Black Zetsu bowed to say goodbye. He was very excited in his heart. It was almost time. If the plan went well, his mother would be resurrected soon. Madara strode away, but before taking 2 steps, he suddenly turned around. At this time, a yellow flash appeared behind Black Zetsu. Namikaze Minato makes a grand appearance. As soon as Mizuki appeared, he had already put a hand on Black Zetsu's back. Black Zetsu reacted extremely quickly and controlled Naruto's Rinnegan, instantly putting his body into hollow state. But Minato's palm ignored hollow and still pressed on Black Zetsu's back. Although he has not yet fully adapted to the power of the Golden Rinnegan, Kamui Hollow, he has mastered it and can use it freely. The Flying Thunder God spell appears, wrapping Black Zetsu within it. Flying Thunder God's guided mind can easily transform into Tailed Beast Bomb, and can also teleport people away. Call out. Black Zetsu disappeared from the spot and disappeared. In Phoenix Village, in a secret room in Fungying Tower, Black Zetsu suddenly appeared. In the dark room, Black Zetsu saw Mizuki's slightly gloomy face clearly at a glance. Black Zetsu, I've been ignoring you, and you actually come to cause trouble. You're forcing me to kill you. I don't have a problem with you wanting to save your mother, and I even admire you a little, but you shouldn't have your thoughts on Naruto. Black Zetsu stared at Mizuki with wide eyes, panic rising in his heart. How did you KNO chapter 308, enough to deal with you? How do I know? Mizuki smiled and said, I know a lot of things. Kagaya used the last of his power to create you before being sealed by Hagoromo and Hamura. You bewitched Indra to the point where he killed his friends with his own hands and started the Mangekyo Sharingan. You tampered with the stone tablet left by Hagoromo. Uchiha Madara believed it after seeing it, successfully opened the Rinnegan, and formulated the infinite Tsukuyomi plan. You pretended to be created by him and obeyed him, but in fact you were using him to resurrect Kagaya. Mizuki told all this calmly. Black Zetsu was already cold all over. He hid it so deeply that even Hagoromo didn't notice it. Why would Mizuki know? His plan was perfect, but where did Mizuki know about it? Why do you know so much? Who are you? Black Zetsu asked in horror. Mizuki suddenly felt a bad taste in his heart, reached out and touched Black Zetsu's head, and sighed. Zetsu, you have worked hard for so many years, and it's all my fault. I didn't take responsibility. Black Zetsu asked with a trembling voice. Are you? Mizuki. At this point, I have to admit it. Yes, I am your father. Black Zetsu opened his mouth instantly. My dad. I have a father. Is this real? Why didn't mom tell me about dad at the last moment when she was about to be sealed? He stared blankly at Mizuki. Really, my dad? Just as he was getting more and more excited and full of emotions, he suddenly noticed that the corners of Mizuki's mouth pursed, and even his dimples appeared. Having lived for thousands of years, how can I not know what this expression is? This girl is holding back her laughter. How dare you play tricks on me? Ju shouted angrily. The 6th child, who has lived for thousands of years and has long been indifferent to emotions and anger, breaks his guard at this moment. Mizuki couldn't hold it in any longer and laughed loudly. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, you actually believed it, it made me laugh to death, ha 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 ha. Mizuki didn't expect that just by teasing him, he would actually be fooled. I only blame myself for not being good at acting. Otherwise, I really would have had more sons. Black Zetsu's anger completely exploded. How dare you insult your mother? I will kill you, I will fight you. Mizuki smiled and said. Well, come on, just let you, an orphan, have a taste of what it feels like to be hung up and beaten by your old father. Roar. Black Zetsu roared angrily, controlling Naruto's body to rush towards Mizuki. The pupil power in his right eye Rinnegan overflowed wildly, and it seemed that he was planning to perform some powerful pupil technique. However, in the next moment, he activated Kamui. The space began to distort, and the distorted space enveloped him, trying to suck him into the Kamui space. The anger and outbursts are fake. On the surface, he looked very angry, as if he wanted to fight Mizuki to the death. In fact, he feinted a shot and prepared to escape using the Kamui space. As expected of a 1,000-year-old man. Still trying to run. Advertisement. When you get to me, can you run away? The next moment, time and space change. Black Zetsu's connection with Kamui's space was instantly severed. He looked around in horror and said in disbelief, "This is the Imperial Palace of Heaven. This is the bloodline snare that was mastered by my mother after she ate the fruit of the sacred tree and opened the 9 Magatama reincarnation Sharingan. Why do you know this technique? Have you ever eaten the fruit of the sacred tree?" Mizuki didn't answer. At this time, his face looked slightly painful. The pain in the soul strikes again. Stop talking nonsense and get away from Naruto. He disappeared and appeared on Naruto's right side, reaching out his hand and pressing it on Naruto's right shoulder. Naruto was possessed by Black Zetsu and the entire right half of his body turned black. Rather than saying that Mizuki pressed on Naruto's shoulder, it was better to say that he pressed on Black Zetsu's shoulder. He grabbed it with his hand again, and Black Zetsu was forcibly ripped from Naruto's body like venom. Black Zetsu had no power to resist. He wanted to possess Mizuki's body, but found that he couldn't do it. All the power was drained away, and he could only be held in Mizuki's hand, unable to move. And the pained expression on Mizuki's face became more and more obvious. His soul has not healed, and he is now only suitable for rest. If he uses a little strength, he will suffer backlash. But he couldn't care less about the pain in order to save Naruto. It's not painful enough anyway. Looking at the dark black Zetsu in his hand, Mizuki thought to himself, what should I do? Wouldn't it be a bit wasteful to kill them directly? He thought for a moment and suddenly had an idea. System, I have a question for you. The system's voice sounded in his mind. What's the problem? Close black lens bracket. Mizuki said. 9-tailed beasts, each tailed beast will be returned after being given to a disciple. If all 9-tailed beasts are returned, then they are released, and Gedo statue absorbs them to synthesize 10 tails. If I then give 10 tails to my disciples, can I still trigger the return? The system is silent. After a long time, he said, objects that have already triggered system return cannot trigger system return again. Close black lens bracket. Mizuki. But, I haven't triggered the system refund with 10 tails. System. Host, you are taking advantage of this. 10 tails is a synthesis of the 9-tailed beasts. Although the names are different, the essence is the same. Close black lens bracket. Mizuki argued. Who said that? Their essences are fundamentally different. The essence of 10 tails is Gedo statue, and the 9-tailed beasts are just the chakra that gave birth to consciousness. System. You are using strong words to make sense. Close black lens bracket. Mizuki. Don't worry about whether my words are strong or not, just tell me whether what I said makes sense. 10 tails, can a return be triggered? The system is silent. Mizuki smiled, and even the pain on his body eased. He looked at the black Zetsu in his hand and said, it seems like you still have some use, so let's keep it for now. Mizuki took Naruto and left the world of heaven. Black Zetsu was left alone here, unable to get out. On the other side, the underground space. Advertisement. Madara looked at the sudden appearance of Namikaze Minato, frowned slightly, and said, I recognize you, Konoha Village 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato. You have a very good talent. You learned the Flying Thunder God technique invented by Tobirama. You must have sent it away with the Flying Thunder God technique, right? Are you here to save your son? Minato looked at Madara and said in surprise, you are also resurrected. Madara said, you can be resurrected, why can't I? I came back from resurrection to lead the ninja world to a new level. Mom failed after all. People can never understand each other. Now, it's up to me to save this desperate ninja world. Infinite Tsukuyomi is the best destination in the ninja world. Minato shook his head and said, Obito was indeed led astray by you. Now that we have met, I must stop you. Madara sneered. You defected to Konoha, gave up your position as Hokage, no longer protected the Fire Country, and no longer protected the people of Konoha Village. Now you say you want to stop me. From what standpoint do you say this? Minato said seriously. Yes, I am no longer the Hokage of Konoha, and I will no longer protect the villagers of Konoha. Now I am a husband and a father. My position is simple, protect my wife and son. So, I will definitely stop you. Madara glanced at Minato, laughed and asked, just you. No one but the Mom has the right to stand in front of me and say anything to stop me. Come on, let me see how you dance. Minato was ruthless and didn't say much. He threw a Flying Thunder God kunai with one hand and hit Madara directly in the face. The kunai came in an instant, and Madara easily dodged it by turning her head. The next moment, Minato appeared next to Madara. He had already grabbed the kunai in his right hand and slashed horizontally towards Madara's throat. Madara sneered. How dare you Madara to master the tricks even though you have a small skill. He stepped back quickly. Everything has been calculated, and with the speed of both parties, he can retreat to a safe position before the kunai slashes. The kunai was 0.05 centimeters away from his throat, and it passed without any injury. However, the next moment, Minato's killing speed suddenly accelerated. Madara's pupils shrank and she was shocked. At this speed, his throat would definitely be cut off and his blood would be splattered on the spot. How could he die after being resurrected? Without any time to think, he immediately adjusted his movements. While retreating, he also jumped up. At the same time, he also launched a counterattack. While dodging, he raised his leg and kicked Minato's knee. The actions of both sides are almost reaching the ultimate. But in comparison, Minato was faster. Minato easily dodged Madara's kick attack, but with his kunai, Madara did not completely dodge it. The next moment, blood sprayed out, and Minato's kunai was dripping with blood. 3 meters away, Madara stared at Minato in disbelief. A line of blood appeared on his collarbone from left to right. Although it avoided the vital part of his throat, the blow was so frightening that cold sweat broke out on his back. Why are your movements and reactions so fast? Madara couldn't help but ask. Simply inhuman. Madara has never seen anyone so fast. Minato threw dozens of flying Thunder God kunai around and said at the same time, actually, it can be faster, but I haven't mastered it yet. But it's enough to deal with you. Chapter 309. Speed and Prediction. Although Namikaze Minato was born as a commoner and did not have any blood blessing, his talents were not inferior to those of any family ninja. He is known as the fastest man in the ninja world, not only because of his quick teleportation technique, but also his super fast nervous reaction speed. And Mizuki's golden Rinnegan can increase strength and speed 1,000 times. After Minato transplanted this eye, his strength and speed were also blessed. He was already very fast, but now he is even faster. Although he has just been transplanted and is not familiar with it yet, and is even a little uncomfortable with the sudden increase in strength and speed, no matter what, he is stronger. The contempt in Uchiha Madara's eyes completely disappeared. At that moment, his Sharingan could hardly catch up with Minato's movements. Although it is just an ordinary 3 Magatama, the dynamic field of vision it provides can even see the vibration of a fly's wings. Now he can barely keep up with Minato's movements. I can only use 2 words to describe it: outrageous. These eyes are not his own. His own eyes were Rinnegan transplanted to Nagato. He then had a pair of 3 Tomo Sharingans transplanted, which he had until his death. Now resurrected by Rinne Tensai technique, her eyes are naturally those transplanted eyes. You are really strong, Madara praised. The only person who has received his praise so far is Senju Hashirama. Now, Namikaze Minato gets his recognition. At this time, he chuckled. Humph, it seems that I have to take it seriously. I hope you can please me next time. The next moment, a powerful aura erupted from his body, and all the flying Thunder God kunai on the ground were blown away, leaving an open space with a radius of 3 meters around him. Minato glanced at Madara before disappearing. 3 meters behind Madara, Minato appeared like a deadly Shinigami. The kunai cut through the space and stabbed Madara in the back of the heart at a speed exceeding the limit. But this time, Madara seemed to have predicted it. The moment Minato appeared, he had already turned around. Fire style. Great fireball. Minato looked at the oncoming fireball, frowned, his body disappeared again, appeared on the left side of Madara, and attacked Madara again. But Madara seemed to have expected it in advance. As soon as Minato appeared, Madara's whip leg had already kicked to the side of her waist. This kick is so powerful and heavy that once it is kicked, your waist may not be saved. Minato activated Flying Thunder God again, changed to another direction and continued to attack Madara. Advertisement. Madara was ready to respond again and actually reached out her hand and almost grabbed Minato's wrist. Minato disappeared again. He dodges back and forth, as fast as ultimate, but Madara responds in time every time. His speed is far less than mine, but I can't take any advantage. Minato's combat intelligence is very high. After a few rounds, he realized that Madara can predict where the Flying Thunder God will land. And it is an accurate prediction. This way, he would have more time to prepare in advance. Although his speed is not as fast as Minato's, he has enough preparation time to deal with it easily and does not fall behind at all. But how did he predict my landing point accurately? Madara had already closed her eyes, showing off her master's style. So angry. You must be very curious at this moment, wondering how I predict where you will appear. He said calmly. There are 2 reasons for this. First, you are a master. When a master fights an enemy, he will always accurately discover the enemy's weaknesses. You will instantly judge the most effective attack direction and angle based on my position and posture, and I also know my own weaknesses, and I will deliberately create opportunities to attract you to attack from a specific angle, and based on this, I can infer the direction of your attack, and there is a high probability that I can make an accurate judgment. Madara's tone was very calm, but Minato was shocked when she heard it. This kind of fighting consciousness is really terrifying. During the battle, deliberately exposing weaknesses to attract the enemy's attack and taking corresponding counterattack measures are essential qualities for a strong person. But doing this every time is so difficult that it seems impossible just thinking about it. But Uchiha Madara did it. But this method may not work every time. After all, the enemy's psychological state cannot be absolutely stable, and fighting is not acting. It is impossible to follow the script completely. So, the second reason is the most important. But at this point, Madara stopped talking. Minato couldn't help but ask, what is the second reason? Madara said, this is the experience I have gained from countless battles. It is a fighting skill that only I have mastered. Light. Minato was puzzled. Light. What the hell is this? What does light have to do with predicting the enemy's moves? Madara said. Or to put it more simply, eyes. Light. Eyes. Minato was even more confused. Advertisement. You hit me with your eyes closed, what do you care about the light and eyes? Could it be that you also have white eyes and can see the look in my eyes even if you close your eyes? But Madara didn't explain, nor did she intend to. You are strong, but you are still not enough for me. Today's fun ends here. If you want to hinder my infinite Tsukuyomi plan, you are not qualified. You have Flying Thunder God and Kamui. I can't keep you, but if you insist on continuing to fight with me, then be prepared to stay here forever. I only need a chance to kill you. Madara's words are full of haki. Minato shook his head lightly and said, I won't leave, and you can't kill me. The world created by infinite Tsukuyomi is just a false world. In comparison, Mizuki's plan to unify the ninja world seems more brilliant. As soon as he finished speaking, orange-red chakra overflowed from Minato's body. In the blink of an eye, he put on the tailed beast's coat. Madara suddenly opened her eyes, full of surprise. Perfect Jinchuriki, worthy of being a Hokage, you actually made 9 tails willingly surrender to you. I think more highly of you. Minato. There is no such thing as surrendering to the other. Kurama and I share the same goals and are good friends. Next, with the blessing of Kurama's chakra, my body's endurance will be stronger, and the power and speed I can exert will increase exponentially. Your prediction is indeed very accurate, but unfortunately, you will no longer be able to keep up with my speed. As soon as he finished speaking, Minato disappeared and appeared 3 meters in front of Madara. He chose to attack head-on, this time not with a kunai but with a Rasengan. Madara once again made an accurate prediction. The moment Minato appeared, he had already kicked out his foot. When Minato rushed in front of him, his foot happened to be on Minato's abdomen, and the distance was less than 3 centimeters. Minato smiled faintly, and the momentum of his body's forward movement suddenly disappeared, and he turned to the left, which seemed to violate Newton's first law. He rubbed Madara's toes, dodged the anticipated attack, and reached Madara's side. Rasengan pressed Madara's shoulder. Madara opened her eyes in shock, her eyes moving with Minato's movements. He saw Minato's movements clearly, but his body couldn't keep up with Minato's speed. He wanted to dodge, but couldn't. Minato is too fast. Now, he has to step aside for everything from third Raikage to lightning-style chakra, the fastest ninja in the world. The next moment, Rasengan hit Madara on the shoulder.